Topical and atypical. Unfiltered and independent. 100% authentic and intelligent.
All right. Are y'all ready? Bust out your Amanda Lander notebook, get your word of the day logbook, and let's get into it. Don't forget, after the show, our SEAL Squad members head on over to Patreon for the after show kickback, where we talk about all the things that went on in the show and how to turn it into action. You ready? Amanda Lander! Learn it.
How black am I gonna have to get? How black, how black am I gonna have to get? How black am I gonna have to get?
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Views from Amanda Land, your news and truths by any joke necessary. Very happy to be here. We've got a great show planned for you. I'm really glad that you guys like my bop for how black how black you gonna have to get. I am in my music bag. I'm actually shocked that I'm like making music, but I am. I guess I'm shocked because like I used to make music. Like, I mean, I have albums, but I never produced. And the reason why I actually like left music was because it was just all about the business. It literally was like irrelevant whether you were talented. It was irrelevant that you were making something soulful. It was just about like the business of it all. And that just made no sense to me. And I realized, oh, you're never going to get anywhere with this. Thank you, Optimistic Skeptic, for shouting out my sweater game. Vintage Mara Hoffman. And oh my God, Isabel Filistini had you crying. Wait till I finish it. I have an album in me. And it's literally just like, I really just wish I didn't have to do anything else but just work on this album. Like, because it's like screaming to get out of me. It's really like, So I really wish that I really just didn't have to do anything else, but that's life and we have things to do. But I have a Revolution album for you. I really do. And you know what? The other thing is just realizing how, you know, the concept of they're before their time. Like people would always tell me like, you're before your time, which would be like super frustrating because you're like, but I'm here now. So like, what are we going to do about that? And, I feel like in my own lifetime, the stuff that I was doing was before my time, not related to the world. It was before my time because I didn't have the capacity, the liberation, the decolonization to truly live in that gift. So when people tell you you're before your time, I want us to reimagine what that means. Because I had the gift of music, but I didn't have the clarity of sight. So when I was pursuing music at that time, it was a misplacement of my gift. Because it was going to just be funneled through this capitalist nonsense. So it was before my time in that it was before the time in my timeline that I was to be doing the thing I'm doing. And I literally say that as I'm like making music, and I'm like literally just like sitting here having the time of my life, like by myself. Like, yes, Janzi, Jess, like I know, like that's how I've always thought of it. Like, oh, you're before your time. Like, you know, you're of another time, like you're ahead of your time. Like I always see that. I've always told that, like you're ahead of your time, right? And so that always was contextualized to me as like, oh, like the world isn't ready for you. And I'm reimagining, I'm positioning that. I wasn't ready for me. I wasn't ready for me. So it's like my soul had to get the opportunity to be in its full self for all of the things to, you know, be doing what they're doing. And the album that I'm putting together. So the other part of this is that when I was making music before, I was always told like, no, you can't sing and rap. You know, you can't do like neo soul and like 90s hip. Like it was always just like, you can't. There were all these limitations. It has to be this long. The song has to be this, because it's always trying to fit into capitalism. Whereas I can just make what I want to make now. Like we've at least come to that point where you can literally just make what you want to make. So like the old mind was like, oh, you got to make a song in this form. And now it's like, no, I don't. This song is going to be me repeating the same phrases until I do something else. This song is going to be a bop. Like, so Maddie Andre, this I produced that song.
How black am I gonna have to get? How black How black am I gonna have to get? How black am I gonna have to get?
Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. Feeling myself. But then there's other vibes. And if you want to like be a part of the process, join my Patreon. It's $5 a month, and I post on there. Like they get to sometimes sit on live while I'm working, or they may get to okay, so here's an example. Like I just climbed up a ladder and climbed down a ladder. Do you hear how out of breath I am? Our guest is about to be here, but we kind of running behind a little bit, but it's going to be fine. So like this is an example. Do y'all hear how I am dying? Do y'all hear how I am dying right now? Mind you, I did my trampoline workout this morning on my mini trampoline. Lindsay had me cooking, boy. Okay. So this is the type of videos, this is the type of behind the scenes that you'll get if you subscribe to my Patreon to be a part of the process of me working on this album. it? There it is. Work in progress. Philistine taught me, brought me back to me. 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 Got me Philistine. I need me Philistine. So that's the type of stuff I'm working on. So you're getting a full realm, and my Patreon folks, because they are a safe space, they get to see the process of this. That right there, what I have in my mind, if I can accomplish it, I just have, I don't know, like I feel like I'm healing myself. I use Logic for music production. For what it's worth, I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay? I'm just like figuring it out, and I've been so blessed to have just people to help me that that I can call on. And I just want to send all of you all the blessings that I've received in sowing, in having seeds of community that reap at the time you need them. And sometimes when you are sowing, you're not doing it for like a transactional purpose. You're just doing it because that's what needs to be done. And you never know when that will be realized. Like I, this week, had a whole crazy scenario where I had a pipe burst in my crib, and my contractor, Henry, like at 10:30 at night, drove an hour and came, and they got me together. And then the next day he sent two of the homies back, and they plowed my whole house out. Like they dug me out of the snow, because I've really just been in the snow. I'd really just decided, like, this is what it is. So I really thank you, Nayore 365. Thank you. And they really, like, I'd really just succumbed, y'all, to like, this is what it's gonna be. Adrian, I fell on the ice while I was trying to solve the mystery of why I didn't have water in my house. And I can't even play the video for y'all because the sounds that I made when I fell sound like a porno. Like, I don't even know why that was the sounds that came out. Like, they're so sexual. Like they're just a very sensual sounds, but it was the ice that effed me. Okay. Like, these I was like, why do you sound like this was pleasurable? This was not. Like, so for Patreon only, because I've seen the tape and I make those exact sounds. I'm telling you, this this right here. Like, why you sound like that? Like, I was writhing in pain. Risla, you were watching me writhe in pain, but I feel like if you didn't see me writhing in pain, you'd be like, oh, that sounds like she's having a time. Connie, I had to say it because I don't ever want y'all thinking I don't see what y'all see. I see what y'all see. I hear what y'all hear. I was like, they wondering how long it's going to take me to call this, but I'm going to call it. And let me also add, I thought the next day was going to be the hard day. No. Today, my body is like, oh, you thought it was sweet? You thought you was going to bust your ass on the ice and we was just going to let you live? That's what you thought? Nah, B. Nah. This whole, like, I literally had to go in the mirror, like, is there bruising? Like, this whole side of my body, bro, I have to just slather. It's day 3. Is that what it is? Because I have to, I'm going to slather the Tiger Balm after this. I'm going to be slathering the Tiger Balm. I appreciate you saying that I say some of the funniest stuff ever because, again, Michael Che texted me out the blue and was like, do you still consider yourself a comic? Settle a bet. And I'm like, I will always be a comic. What the fuck is y'all talking about? Like, I will always be a comic. They scared of me not being a comic. No, I will always be a comic, which means I can come back at any time. So be ready. Lawrence, we're going to come to you shortly. I just need to handle some business first, like finding out where everybody's from. Come on. Hello, views from Amanda Lands. Let's see where you're at. Amanda Landers here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. It's a sunny day in this fascist hellscape. Where y'all at? Amanda Landers here to learn. Drop in and tell me where you're watching from. We got Cleveland, Ohio, Fort Worth, Raggedy, Texas, Patterson, New Jersey, Harlem, Baltimore, Maryland, Philly, Detroit, but they live in Clearwater, Florida, Vancouver, Canada, good old ATL, Lafayette, Louisiana, San Antonio, Waldorf, Maryland, New Jersey, Lytle, Texas, LA, living in Salt Lake. We've got Manchester here for class, Augusta, Georgia. We got Georgia going to be here on the show with the Seals Family Farm, no relation. Sunnyvale, California, Smyrna, Georgia, Wickmacong, unceded territory in so-called Muskogee, Ontario, Canada, Ireland, Japan, and Berlin, Oklahoma, OKLAHOMA, Toronto, Ontario, at somebody's job, Kansas City, Missouri. Rolando is in Las Vegas, the city of sin. Franklin, Missouri. London, UK. Paris, France. Bonjour. Is it like bonsoir? Not yet. It's still bonjour. It's still bonjourish. Chelsea, Manhattan, Luxembourg. Cholul, Mexico. Aloha from the Bay. Montreal, Riverside, California. I missed you from South Africa. I did. The LBC said the LBC. I said the LBC said the LBC. The wind is coming down the rain in Oklahoma. We got Baltimore in the building. We also got another Newark. We got West Newton, Pennsylvania, Kansas City, Missouri, Toronto, Ontario. Y'all are in the building. Elena, Teaneck, New Jersey. Amanda Landers here to learn. Thank you for telling me where you're watching from. Australia! Okay, so because we are running late, I don't want to hold our guest up any further. So we're going to make sure that we do the word of the day after we handle this bit of business, which is our level us up guest. And when I saw their name, I was like, holla. So I'll explain. Amanda Land.
Yes, it's used for parasites, and they're growing here on the farm. So that's another reason why we're doing it, just to help instill that plant identification on how to use what's growing around us.
And which animals can you give black eye susan to real quick?
Bunnies.
Oh my God! Come on!
Yeah.
Lawrence?
Yeah, and they're like swim well.
That's not Riverdale, Georgia right now, man. No, like swim well.
You got to know it.
Lawrence, we have to be somewhat related in some form or fashion. We're one letter of difference.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
a common name.
Absolutely. That is very much one of the things I learned from my wife. When people move towards the northern region from the south to the north to kind of escape and go on to another a better life, they added that E to their name to kind of signify they were free, but they were still very much conjoined. So yeah, your folk probably, if you take them the highways, 75, 85, all the ones that go north and south, that's where our lineage usually goes towards. So yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, let me tell you. So that video is what put you on the map for me, because I am very much trying to do my best to impart to people that we need to really expand our knowledge beyond just the academics of it all, right? We need to understand the actual earth that we live on. And then I see y'all doing that in the classroom, outside with the kids, in a barter system. So first, just get me together. Tell me about the Seals Family Farm, the farmstead you have in Riverdale, Georgia.
Yes, Seals Family Farm. We started off. First, I'd like to say this real quick on the topic of music, because I know you punched in with that earlier. I'd like to give a big shout out to Goody Mob and the whole Dungeon Family crew, because I believe that music that I heard at an adolescence really shaped and molded me to who I am today. So big shout out to the partners. So Seals Family Farm. Yeah, you know what it is. Bang.
Nobody. Don't get me started on Goody Mob. I'll do the whole.
Look, I'm here for it. We're going to turn up.
Yeah, we can do all
everything for free. Yeah, everything for free. So yeah, that's the premise of our farm. So basically, like we started off as a farm.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, we started off as a farm that was gonna save our community from the despair of having no real options of nutrient dense.
Wait, no, that you skipped a step. Where were you when you had this epiphany, we got to do this? What was the catalyst?
Okay, I'm gonna jump all the way back to 2020. Okay, so my first initiation into agriculture was a purely therapeutic endeavor. I was going to therapy for PTSD. I served as a combat medic in the military, came back a totally different person, and I was really trying to find myself. And I was going to therapy. The military?
Oh, see, now we're doing a whole other interview now. Because
Come on with it.
You just
Look, I'm
said,
here. I'm here.
No, you just said a series of words that let me know that your brain think different. So we're going back. What made you go to the military?
Okay, military was very much one of them Hail Mary passes. I didn't get qualified for scholarships as a young man, and I really was a knucklehead, so I'm not going to act like I didn't have guidance. I was going my own way. You know what I mean? And I jumped in. My father was in the military, so I was somewhat familiar.
What brand?
But he begged me. He was in the Army. He begged me not to go to the military. But again, I was a knucklehead. I'm an Aries. I wanted to. Okay. Yeah, come on with it. Yeah, I got to have my own way.
By the way.
Yeah.
Aries just entered Neptune. This is your time for the next 4
And here I am. In grand fashion. Yeah. So I just jumped in because I was looking to find a better way. And of course, I'm in a marginalized side of town, south side of Atlanta. The recruitment centers are right around the corner. They in the schools, they everywhere. So I got ensnared by the, you're gonna get this benefit or you're gonna get the schooling. And that's really what I went for. I went for the schooling.
Were you always a reader? Because you read books.
I don't. That's very much not my thing.
Vocabulary from?
I would like to shout out again that Goody Mob Dungeon Family. You know what I mean? Yeah. Hey man, them Southside players got something to say. They've been saying it for a long time. Yeah, the diction is very strong on the South. Man. Yeah.
You just dropped ensnared on us very casually. All
right. Oh yeah, look, that's just a drip. We got a splash coming.
Read a book, you illiterate son of a bitch. Step up your man. I know that's PG, but still. Okay. So you got ensnared in
Yeah.
the militarized industrial complex.
Capitalism, yeah, as a result of capitalism. So yes, we didn't have any real advantages for a young person on the South Side. Went into the military thinking I was going there just to. Well, I had a plan in general. I was going there for the school money, but I was
Okay.
also doing the on the job thing. So I was going in as a healthcare specialist. And again, that knuckleheaded nature boy of earlier times didn't know any better to read the contracts. And when I actually touched down, I was a combat medic. Yes. So yes, it was very a series of unfortunate events, but it shaped me again. I don't see any losses, only lessons, and I think I had to go down that path so I can actually see what America was, so I can actually be involved in real situations, real warfare, and so I can bring that back
Where
to my
were you
community.
stationed?
I was stationed in Fort Seal, Oklahoma. Excuse me, not Fort Seal. Fort Carson.
I was like,
Fort Carson. I went to
Seals
school at
and
I went to training at Fort Seal, Oklahoma. Yeah. SILL.
fascinating. So when you were serving, where did you touch down to do your combat medic
I
work?
was in Iraq. Iraq. Both tours. Two tours in Iraq.
Oh,
And I'm talking about lickety split. I'm talking about once I got out of school, I was in the combat zone, 19, soaking wet, didn't know no better. And I really felt this is like my they say the villain origin story. This is when I really was like, hold on, you motherfucker. Y'all really caught me. Y'all caught me and y'all threw me over here. And then now I'm looking around like there's no terror around. Like we're the only we're so it really that PTSD, I learned that after the fact. It wasn't necessarily the traumas that I saw with, I was a combat medic, so I saw a lot of combat, but it was the guilt. I learned that it was a deep feeling of guilt that I had about being a part, even though I did it, unbeknownst to me, but I was a part of it nonetheless, of this suppression of other people. And I was really I was torn. I was torn by it. So yeah, I had to come back and rebuild myself. And I found it in gardening. So my first therapeutic resolve was a movement therapy, and that's what they named it as, because I thought therapy was going to be with the crystals, crisscross, applesauce
were
mantra
you like?
437.
Did you seek out therapy? Were you like willing?
Absolutely. 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 The change only happens for real when you decide to step into it. Like, ain't nobody pull you into it. No,
Yeah.
none. I was really having horrible relationships. I was in and out of divorces. I ain't gonna say in and out. I had two divorces,
I was
but I
like,
think
damn,
just
how many divorces
yeah.
can I have, Elizabeth Taylor? Uh, okay, but the people who rate, okay, everything you're
Mhm.
saying is incredible.
Okay.
There's a certain kind of person who thinks this way, who allows themselves to restore, to correct, who even has self-assessment. Were you always that person? Were you around people that think that way? Were you trained?
No,
Were you raised to think that way? Or do you feel like that's just how your soul showed up?
I'm very much the quintessential middle child. So I'm always kind of doing my own self-analysis or my own growth or my own, you know what I mean? So I think that was just a part of the situation that I was in, the circumstance, the environment that I was in. But I think after you get a certain age, it's on you to
Well,
identify,
yes, you are.
you
It
know what I
is.
mean?
But who does
So
though?
yeah,
So
I mean that's
I'm always asking folks who have found themselves to do this work, particularly Black men in the United States, because
mhm.
it's so not a part of our culture. It's becoming more like, I don't know if you saw this Kevin Gates interview with idiotic Shannon Sharp, which I will always refer to him as, but Kevin Gates was talking about like his own, self journey of healing and therapy. And I have dated enough brothers to know that that's not necessarily the common thread. Right. So
Mhm.
when I see brothers that are doing that, I just want to lift you up,
Yeah.
because it's harder to do that when it's not the norm.
Yeah.
You start,
Absolutely.
people look at you like, oh, you soft, or you 730 or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's just where you gotta have your own. You gotta let your own hang. You know what I mean? Because I definitely the whole Nature Boy moniker came from my friends really poking fun at me because I was hiking and I was gardening and I was camping and I was trying to really relieve myself. So that's really where it came from because nobody was doing that, and I definitely got poked fun of. I definitely had the little shorts like all the dudes in the wild be having, man. Yeah, little tiny shorts, but it still didn't stop me because I was on a personal quest. I like the Alchemist, man, your personal legend. I was
Yes.
trying to live mine out. So I really wasn't phased by none of that. And again, it's really one of them stances where you have to look at yourself in the mirror. It's like the last stage of the final, it's yourself. You have to really identify and pick apart all the things that are not you. And where did they come from? Where did they stem from? How did they get there? And then what am I without those things? And yeah, you know what I mean? So that's
I
kind of,
literally just wrote a whole essay about this and posted it on my Substack. That there's the earth and the world.
yeah.
There's also you of the earth and you of the world. And when you
Hmm.
can discern and delineate the differences between those two, you can get that muck that came to you by trying to exist in a synthetic, made up world of oppression and get to the
Hmm.
soul of you, which is the soil of you, which is where you got to. You see what we did there, y'all?
Yeah. Dropping down.
Man, don't make me start singing Nature Boy. Okay,
Nah, come on with it.
which I'm absolutely gonna sing before the show is over. So, so now, when you were a kid, were you like the outside kid in nature? Like, did you have fascination with animals and stuff when you were a kid?
Not so much animals. No, I've really grown to really love animals and really adore them as we raise our own. But I was never a animal dude. I was definitely. I think all 90 kids was outside kids. Hell, I ain't had no choice. But yeah, we was outside. Yeah, all that for sure, for sure. Going through sewers and everything. Yeah, we having adventure time in real life. Straight
Real
up.
life.
Yeah.
So you're doing this therapeutic process. You're finding yourself. You're coming back to self. So take us through the next phase of the journey.
Yeah, so found myself or finding it's a constant kind of awareness. And so yeah, I really grown to really have that ebb and flow, that real co-creative relationship with nature. And I started to see her as a being. And I started to really immerse myself in nature. And I started more hiking and more gardening. And then I think around 2014, I was going to work. I remember it because my wife was pregnant with our first child, and I was going to work doubles at the airlines, and I was just getting things stocked up for the weekend so I could do my doubles, and I know she was straight. And I went to the store, and it was just pandemonium going on. And again, my PTSD was still very much there. So once I heard a lot of craziness, I aborted mission ASAP. And luckily for me, I was on the east side at that time, Memorial Drive. A shout out to all my east side partners. It was three other stores I could go to, and I went to others successively, and basically it was the same thing. And I finally got to a store that wasn't so crowded, and I kind of had my composure to where I can ask what was going on. Lo and behold, the EBT system had went out, and it wasn't even going to be out for a long time. It's just out for that weekend, and it was a Friday again, so everybody was just really in pandemonium, and I was thankful and grateful enough to be able to go and pay for my stuff in cash. So I still got my things. But as I'm walking back to my car, it's just ringing in my ears, like people yelling, like, "What am I going to feed my kids? We don't have no food in the house right now." And a lot of, I'm always in the area where it's my people, because that's where I feel comfortable. And it's just looking back at the duress that I was seeing, I was just like, wow, we have to do something. So that's when we took a stance even further, and we bought our farm, which is now in Riverdale, Georgia, and we said we were going to come here and grow enough food to feed our whole community.
So
And
wait,
Riverdale's where I'm from.
your
Yeah.
wife was like, "Yeah, no problem. Let's do it."
Yeah, basically. Yeah, basically. I think
Yeah,
I
that's a
think
big
that
basically. Whenever people say it twice, I'm like, wait.
I think we had that type of she had that trust in me.
Mhm.
I ain't been no peon in the game for some time. Like literally even in Iraq and doing all that stuff, I was really letting my hang by standing up and telling people like, no, that's an unlawful order. I'm not carrying that out. I'm not doing it. I sat my gun to the side. I sat on the curb, like in the middle of a war zone. So I've been done had mines hanging, and my wife knows that if I'm going for it, I'm giving it all I got, and I made a sound decision. So she gave me that kind of vote of confidence as well to kind of just go forward with it. And then again, it was something that was so transformative in my life, as far as just being a therapeutic aspect and that
Right.
holistically transferring into the spiritual concepts. And it was just like, this is a real thing. So I think she gave me that, that
Carte blanche. I just want to
encouragement.
take a moment to pat myself on the back, y'all, because my ability to pick guests, Lawrence.
Yeah. Hey,
just-
man. Cheers
just
to you.
saying, a toast.
Yes.
Okay. So, how do you even look for a farm? Like once you decide, like, okay, I want to buy a farm, like, are there farm realtors?
And that's the trickiness, right? Because a farm could be anything. So I have somebody who's a farm who's in a regular subdivision. He don't even have a real backyard. His farming operation is in his garage. So what our farm is meant to do is really to imagine what agriculture is and what our place is in agriculture by getting away from what we see on TV. So we just went house hunting. We just had specific things that we wanted to be on a farm, and that was it. So it's just, you get a house right now. For us, it was like, well, we're more so like homesteaders. So I was looking for water. I was looking for,
I don't know what a
arable land.
homesteader is.
Okay, homesteading is basically when you try to close the loop within your production. So you don't want to outsource anything. So you're trying desperately to raise your own animals, grow your own food, make your own medicine, mend your own clothes, or make them. Anything that you can do to basically cut out the access or the
Y'all are on
dependency.
some pioneer type thing. Like, okay.
So
yeah.
we're first generation farmers, first generation homesteaders. And that was a quick lived transition.
Is
I
it
forgot
off
what I
the
was
grid?
talking about. No, not necessarily off grid. Not necessarily off grid. You can definitely be a farm and still be attached to the grid 100%. We are just like that. We catch water and we have solar, but we are very much attached to the grid.
So when you said we decided, like, okay, it was a quick flip from farming to homestead. What was that? Like, what made you say, oh, we need to do it this way?
Yes. So when we kind of got our farm number, I really didn't think, I was just like you. I didn't know no better. I didn't really understand agriculture in that way. So I didn't know that this could be a farm. And my wife was the one who encouraged me, like, hey, this could be applied and we could just send this paperwork in. And she did it. And next thing I know, I was getting the call verifying that, hey, this sector that we're looking at, is this your farm? I'm like, yes. And so that's basically what happened. And so I was really blindsided by it. And I went back and retrospectively tried to figure out how to make money as a farmer, obviously, because I wasn't planning on it. And we kind of did a tour around the other Atlanta farms, and I kind of poked and prodded here and there. And long story short, I realized that a lot of our farmers are highly subsidized. They're literally held up as if it's EBT or Section 8. Let's just put it like that. A lot of our farmers,
they're all losing their minds in the Midwest, even though they voted for someone who absolutely said, I'm against all of that.
Absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%. It's not a lot of us in that space, but farmers are absolutely the same. Man, I don't want to say it's the same position. Yeah, that's all. They're really subsidized to where they can't really do anything outside of those subsidies. If they don't have them, they can't survive. They can't buy their fuel. They can't buy their seed, their feed, nothing. And that goes from the top all the way down.
For people who don't know, like, just for simplifying, subsidies are essentially like grants, like they're government injections into your business.
Yes.
What is the government's win? Like, is it like we inject this money into your business and you sell it back to us? Like, what's the exchange?
The exchange is basically we inject this in you and now we own you. That's what I'm gonna say. I call it prostitution. Just keep it 55th Street, man. I call it, not even sharecropping, because it's more sinister, because they can get you hooked to where you need this. You're very much dependent on it, and now they can take it away at the drop of a dime. So now you dancing, you tap dance, you doing everything you can. And again, it's not that they even want you to give anything back. 9 times out of 10, you hear farmers who have to discard their produce. So you get farmers who get in trouble for giving it away to the homeless or giving it away to here or there. Like, so they can't even do that. So that you're really shackled. You put yourself back into the system.
Because you're not allowed to give pussy away if you have a pimp. That is a rule.
Come on, man. Come on. That's my They want it all. They want your soul. So that's what I saw. I kind of took a look behind the curtain, and because I'm definitely not. I would say I'm not. I'm gonna say I'm not the average guy, man. I really like to stand on
We're
my 10.
we're very aware.
Yeah.
We
So
was hip to that 5 seconds in. Okay.
once I saw it, it was an immediate alert. Like, ain't no hoes around here. Y'all can't play me like that. We're out of here. So we kind of chucked the deuces on our dream. We still are a farm, but we switched over from production to education. And that's kind of where the video comes from. We started educating, and this is again spoken from a first generation farmer, first generation homesteader. We didn't really have the confidence to educate, so we started educating kids and kind of educating ourselves in our rhythm at the same time. And we started a program called Back to Basics, where we were basically just taking kids through the lifestyle of homesteading, growing food, seed preservation, raising animals, processing animals, the whole nine. You name it, we done it. So that's kind of where our implementation really took form.
So tell me about the process of determining your curriculum, and how did you even get the word out to get the kids to come to the farm, because this is different, right? So some parents may not be necessarily like understanding of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe in the construct of the universal mind. They say if you think it in your mind, that at least means two people thought about it. If two people thought, four people thought. So the framework was that if we were looking to, because we were already homeschoolers as well, so we already took our son out of homeschool for years, and we were desperately looking for like groups or co-ops or other foundational educational parameters to kind of stick our son into that met that social impact aspect as well, right? So with kids development, the social development is key. So we just really stuck it there to where whatever we needed, we just built it for other people in hopes that other people found the value in it. And again, it was just really wonderful, but I learned really quick that it's not really scalable. It's not really anything that you can use to kind of make a lot of money. And right now, I think again, capitalism is really running rampant to where people, it's filtering out now or slowing down now. But back then, it was everybody still trying to get six figures. Everybody still trying to get the end.
When did you start this?
This is 2017.
Okay.
2017.
Y'all been at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thugging for a minute. So it was really not, it wasn't going to be valuable in that system of capitalism because you're not going to make a lot of money. So this is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of intention for the betterment of our children and their children and going forward to produce something that other people can buy into. And so, yeah, we kind of just had to really understand that the money wasn't going to be there, but the need was very much there. So we started to play around with different concepts. And that's where that bartering mechanism came in to where, and I think it's like a Montessori concept as well. If y'all are familiar with Montessori, you can Google it, but it's a schooling type. And the school basically used very practical education rooted in community to address the needs of the children. So the same concept, we just use community resources to serve as our faculty. So we have herbalists, we have people who sew, people who bake. I would be the grower. I would be the one who shows the kids to farm animals. My wife's doing the foraging with the kids. And then we have other members come in and give their offerings and their gifts. And in exchange, their kids come for free. And that was really how we closed the loop again, like the homesteading mechanism. Close the loop to where we don't need any tuition. There's no barriers for our children when it comes to practical education.
So everybody who has a kid there teaches something.
Not everybody. No, some people actually joined in because they wanted to give an offering, because they say, hey, I love to teach kids and I would love to bring this program to you. And of course, vetting has to happen. But that's kind of where we kind of even created further this community collectively sustainable. And I'm going to get into that later. But yeah, we definitely don't let any Tom, Dick, or Harry just show up and,
No,
what I mean?
I just meant in terms of like the kids that are involved, each of them have a parent that teaches something.
If they're able to. Some parents just pay, and that's kind of, again, where it still complements. Yeah, it still complements the system. Yeah, because some people don't have the time or the capacity or the bandwidth, but they have the finances. So it's like, hey, I can support the system by offering this. And yeah, that's how we do it.
So tell me about collectively sustainable.
Collectively
sustainable.
So basically, fast tracking, we took our framework as Seals Family Farm and we saw the success of it. And in 2022, Well, let me go back a little bit. So we saw the success of it. We started to really show that kids can grow food, that they can bake bread, they can do all these things. And it was beautiful for us because we were testing out the rhythm of our educational framework. And lo and behold, the parents started asking about, hey, can you do that class for parents? Can we come? So that's kind of
Naturally,
where
yeah.
it expanded out to where we were hitting the adults as well. And then we opened it up to the community, and we were touching so many households. We were like, man, we really need to create this hyper local food system. That again is what we kind of, I kind of fast tracked I went through that story because we became a farm to feed the community only to find out that we couldn't do it by way of quantification. And it's just really like we on 3 acres.
Quantification.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Nope. Don't know what it is.
Okay. Okay. So we're growing food to feed people, but we have to really know how many people we can feed and how much product we need to create in order to feed them. So our 3 acres could only create so much product, whereby we can understand how many people we can touch, how many people we can really serve in that specific manner. And what we did was realize that that was really like to feed a neighborhood or feed a city on 3 acres is impossible. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And that was our reality too. It's like, again, that transition from farmer to homesteader led us into a deeper dive. Farming is just about making a flip, making a profit. Homesteading is more about sustaining yourself. So we had different, I want to say, quantitative analysis. We have different vantage points when we looked at our food production now. We know that we need X amount of tomatoes because my wife needs to make this many jars of tomato sauce, and this many peppers need to be made to make the salsa. This many potatoes need to be grown so we can last through the winter. So those are the data points that we put in, and we really figured out very quickly again that we couldn't do anything on 3 acres. So the next best thing that we could do was again enact this educational framework and put it into the community's hands. 9 times out of 10, it was donation-based classes, but we were trying to get them the information so they can be comfortable growing their own food and then mesh together as a support network.
Yes.
Right? Hyper local food system. So traveling back to that route, so we more so started educating all of our community members, people in the neighborhood, the kids, the schools, in order to create a network of growers, bakers, and makers, so that when we wanted to boycott, or we wanted a different option, or we wanted to not have to read all the ingredients on the back of the label and pull out Google to see what this word means. So we really had a support network that we had decentralized, and we didn't have to bear the burden of everything. So that's kind of where our transition happened.
I get really irritated when people say to me, like, we don't have leaders. Where are the leaders at? And we have people like yourself. This is an example of leadership. For so many people, their only idea of leadership is leading a march. This right here is an actual example of leadership, you all, because what it is demonstrating values carried out through action, disseminated through community. And it is done so in direct opposition to the framework that is in place to repress. It's
1000%.
not done like we're just doing it. It's like no big deal. No, it is actively done in resistance.
Yes. Very calculated, very strategic. So that leads us to collectively sustainable, which is it used to be a grassroots movement, but now through our expansion, we are a social impact movement. And again, that framework that was used for the kids, that subsequently were used for the adults, is now being disseminated nationwide to our other stewardship centers, is what we call it. So our farm operates as an educational green space to where, again, the community can come in. So anybody who has the space, the time, the bandwidth, the wherewithal to kind of do what we're doing in their backyard, their community garden, their homestead, their farm, we're encouraging them to be a resource for their community by way of collectively sustainable and becoming a stewardship center. And again, we're having stewardship centers pop up nationwide, and these are resources that are already present. This is information that is already gathered by the personnel who are saying, yes, I can hold space. So it's really much a succinct, clear connection to the people who have the information with the people who are desperately trying to attain it. And again, it's usually donation based, because we understand that we have to move outside of capitalism to make this thing work. We cannot outpace inflation. So we're moving through that bartering mechanism. We're again starting to teach people how to grow bacon, make tangible things so they can stack them on top of their services or just have a tangible outcome so that when you are posed with, hey, I have this, can I get that from you? It's real. It's real if I can get a dozen eggs and somebody gives me a loaf of bread, or it's real if I can make lip chap and somebody can give me a bag of fresh greens. That's real now. That's real currency. So that's what Collectively Sustainable does. And again, that's a social impact movement. We have over 300 members nationwide. We're trying to get up to a certain level. The beauty of it is we take membership dues, and the membership dues goes into a pot. So a collective spending pot, and all these stewardship centers can get broke off. Once we get to a certain level, we can issue our own mini funds or mini grants. So we don't, again, have to be entangled with the government or any other nonprofits that we don't see eye to eye with. We really can hold our own.
You're going to make me cry.
Don't cry. Don't cry.
No, it's like a power cry.
A war cry.
Yeah. God damn it, my brother. Like, my solar plexus, my chest is like exploding.
Yeah, let it out.
And we have the same name.
It was meant to be. It's meant to be. I seen 333 this morning.
Georgia.
Slide on down. We here. We rooted. We rooted.
You got to take it. Let me rephrase that because I don't like when people talk to me that way. So I'm not going to talk to you that way. I think it would be advantageous to take this to the Caribbean. I'm just gonna
I think we have to go everywhere. It has to be global. They say think local, act global. So this framework is meant to be micro on the macro. You know what I mean? The kaleidoscope theory, if you will. So we want to have these fractals everywhere because we need to have these nodes that can sustain any type of resist. So a lot of people are marching, a lot of people are fighting, but they don't know how to make toothpaste. They don't know how to literally feed themselves. And we're just saying, hey, we can't do anything until we cover this base. Like we can't skip stairs right now. This is the first step. You got to be able to feed yourself because if we're attached to the system in totality, there's no way that we're moving from it. We already know the ingredients are trash. We already know these folks is hyping up the prices and now you get half the bag, half the value. We already know that a lot of our ingredients that are allowed in our food are banned in several other countries. This is a perfect opportunity for us. It makes the most sense economically. It makes the most sense as far as your health. And it makes the most sense if you're trying to let your nuts hang and you really want to stand up for something. If you're really tired of the injustice going on domestically and internationally, you saying these folks don't represent us, this is where we draw the line. And it's purely in action-based constructs. So yes, I'm loving it. I would definitely love to see it in the Caribbean. Got to go there.
This is the thing about the Caribbean. When you're talking about places that are inextricably linked to government, right? That have been forced to rely on the Caribbean has been strung up and snared, as you would say, in the same way that the farmers of the United States have. Because when NAFTA happened, they made it to where the Caribbean didn't have the ability to make their own deals, right? Their trade rates went, plummeted. So then it became, well, now we're on the receiving end of whatever these folks decide is the rate. And it has really made the Caribbean the Africa of the Western Hemisphere because the resources are no longer owned. The system of the systems of operation are not owned by the people anymore. And what you're talking about is what I've been trying to kind of help people understand is that it's not enough to just know things. You have to understand why you need to know them. So it's like you can know how to make toothpaste. However, it's far more effective if you know that you need to know how to make toothpaste because the folks making your toothpaste want to ruin your teeth so that you have to go to their healthcare and use their insurance company so they can steal your money like that.
Yeah.
Like the context of things is different. So like what we have in the Caribbean right now is we have a lot of people. I hear my accent about to come out. We have a lot of people who are realizing like, yo, this is not the way it should be. Like we have the richest soil. Why are we importing fruit? like later in the episode of this show today, I'm going to show an episode of my segment that I do called Behind the Seals, where I was on a farm in Grenada. I had 5-6 different fruits that I've never heard of. You would lose your mind, Lawrence, on the Belmont estate. So at some point, I'm saying it so that people can hold me to account. And also remember, once we put it into the universe, it comes back to us. The universe conspires to give us what we want. Also from The Alchemist.
Absolutely.
And I am going to come down to Georgia because I also need to go visit Ray Wild's farm as well. So I need to come down to Georgia, and y'all got to come to Grenada. Damn. You know what's funny about this farming shit? And you said it earlier. Like, it finds you.
Yeah, absolutely. 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 It's a great awakening right now. It's a rush to the green right now. Again, the classroom, they say the classroom is returning back to the shade tree. Everybody has, I like to use the analogy of the Scooby-Doo mystery, man. We already know who under that hat, man. We're not even running out the building no more. We got y'all. We're learning that y'all hoaxed us into all this stuff, and really our freedom, our liberation is really right outside the door. It's like the therapy is right outside the door, right? And that's really scientific. They know that when you touch the soil in your fingers or your feet, and I ain't know, it was Nature Boy as far as like just my persona, but I'm growing into really being a Nature Boy. So I'm really out here with my feet, bare feet right now in the greenhouse, really trying to soak up all that. Yeah, I'm trying to really cast a laser beam. But it's like, this is the science that they omit from the textbooks. This is the real science. This is the real learning lessons. And again, it's a great rush to get outside. So I believe like everything's happening for our benefit right now, where we are with what we have. And I think we have a wonderful opportunity right now to really change things for our generations to come. I think the system is shifting right now before our eyes. There's no going back to anything. It's an emergence of a new. And again, a lot of people equate the new into chaos, but I like to reframe, because chaos means opportunity as well. We have a wonderful opportunity to do something for us. A stance in solidarity for us.
This is literally what they hear from me every week.
Yeah. We cousins, man. That's it. We family. Straight up.
We have a couple questions from the folks. So I'm gonna throw them out there. We got Bad Barbara 1236 that was something I had kept for myself because shout out to you, Bad Barbara. I'm glad that I brought the painting back. Okay, Carla Seward says, greetings, Miss Seals and your guests. Back to basics. Love this episode. As a professor at an HBCU in agricultural sciences, I find that she had another post. Damn, I'm messing up. I was so involved in what you were saying. Okay, here we go. Good. Mr. Seals, can you please share what was on your checklist of things you wanted when you bought your property?
My checklist, I think the water source was the main thing. And I just wanted to make sure, like, I'm one of them people, like, I don't like to be in the woods. I don't want to be alone. So I still want to be near people, because I already knew that I was going to highly involve my community. So things like proximity of other neighbors, demographic was a big thing. As far as the landscape itself, just water was the main thing, because we don't, and that's one thing that turned my stomach when we became farmers as well. They wanted to clear cut our land, and clear cut, for anybody who knows that or doesn't know, that means strip all the trees from the land so you can make it, I ain't gonna say arable. They just call it, like, this is the format of agriculture. Like, you got 3 acres, cut all the trees down, till everything over, and start growing food. And I'm like, now, mind you, again, my therapy preceded the farming. My creation, my relationship with the earth kind of came first. So I'm saying, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, y'all gonna cut down all the trees? Y'all tripping. So again, that kind of just put a bad taste all in my mouth, and I kind of just went away from it at that point. So I don't necessarily look for like anything else other than a water source. That was my biggest thing.
Well?
No, we have a lake, a spring-fed lake. Yeah. And that was the biggest thing for us. Yeah, that was it. We just wanted to have space to, again, kind of expand our curriculum and expand our reach. And, the universe brought it into our orbit, man. And it really happened really off divine intervention, because we were not supposed to be able to get this property at all. We had just bought a house a year before, and this house just really popped up, and there's a whole story behind that too. And it's a whole story because I got the hawks tattooed on my leg from the alchemist. And the first thing I saw was a hawk in a tree, and it was looking me right in my soul. And yeah, it's a whole story, but that's how we got the property. Hell of a deal too. Universe, come on, man. When you're doing your
Listen.
job, man, you get blessed.
So when I
Blessed.
decided to buy my book back from the publisher because they were ridiculous people, it was an eagle that told me to do it. I was literally on the phone having the conversation, and then an eagle flew directly at me. And then I went, as one does, and looked up in my book of spiritual animals, and it was like, yeah, you need to cut that.
That's it. We here. We here.
Man. All right, next
We
question.
here.
Brother Seals, you don't know the blessing you've been today. You're round. Okay, this person just wanted to show you some props. You're rounding out a conversation I had earlier today. Next question, Mr. Seals, do you have any advice on heirloom seeds? Is there a company you trust, or are all heirloom seeds deemed equal?
No, all seeds are not equal, and I really don't have. I know Erica with Planting Hills, blackownedseeds.com. You can shop with her. Other than that, we really practice seed saving, and we really form this collaborative with other farmers and gardeners and homesteaders. So we really have an abundance of trusted seeds because typically we save our own and they save their own. So by default, an heirloom seed is just a seed that you grew 3 times, 3 years, 3 successive crops out of the same seed capturing. So the mother seed has babies. You save these seeds, you grow these seeds, they have babies. So 3 years of that, and you have an heirloom seed. That's what heirloom means. So I would just say stick to homesteaders, go talk to gardeners, people who probably already saved their seeds. That's the best way to go. And I didn't mention, I'm so sorry, and I don't mean to kind of plunge this in, but Farm Fresh 24/7 is an app that we created to kind of help find each other. So again, as we were creating all these growers, bakers, and makers around Atlanta, we were like, hey, how can we start to intentionally divest from the system and invest into our own? And we created an app that's free to download, free to post on. And that's where I source a lot of things as well. Just because we need
Farm Fresh 24/7.
24/7. Yeah.
Rolando, can you make that link? Just another question about heirloom seeds. What is the value of heirloom seeds? Like, what makes them special? Like, why are they a choice?
Information. Seeds have a wonderful, the earth in general, nature is brilliant, and seeds have a brilliance about them as well. And the more you save a seed from a particular area or region, the more immersed into that system they become, so they can pull the minerals faster. They're more familiarized with the landscape. So if you source your seeds hyper locally, again, that's our movement. You're going to find seeds that are more pest resistant, tolerant to so they're going to be tolerant to the seasons, to the droughts, whatever you have. So you can grow a seed to make it more tolerant for your area. And again, Farm Fresh 24/7 and apps like that, if you pop up in Atlanta and you're looking to grow a specific thing and somebody has the seeds, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be perfect for your region, rather than, like, we took payment gateways off of Farm Fresh. We don't allow shipping. It's really meant for you to meet the person. So we wanted to, we don't get any money from it. It's really made so that you can go meet somebody who has the information or possibly those supplies in general, so they can help you and assist you as you grow. So yeah, that's the benefits of the heirloom seeds. And then they're not tainted, that's a big deal nowadays as well.
All right. Last question, because we'll do this all day. I was asking Mr. Seals about early childhood education's role in agriculture, because I find it hard for people to see this relationship. I know what she means. Like, how have you been able to align the agriculture part with the early childhood education for people to really understand its seamlessness and necessity?
I think we just don't see it because we've been made to, the shutter's been put on our eyes. It's the most practical concepts. That's why it's called back to basics. These are the basic constructs of where kids need to be. They need to be outside. They need to be running. They need to be exploring. That's a big part of their social makeup, in their developmental makeup, excuse me. So it's easy to really, I think the hardest thing is for people to conceptualize that you can still get math, reading, and science and those
That
things
was what I was
out
going
of.
to ask. Like, what does it look like? Like, what does the back to school, the back to basics curriculum look like?
Okay, so for every month we have a theme. Let's say for this month we have bread making. So the kids might be exploring flatbread, pan bread, and again, that's going to add in your math. That's adding in, theories of like why do you have to preheat the oven because the house is cold, or it's really practical. So you can weave in all those things because you're doing things that are just really necessary, but they all still add in the values of math, reading, writing. It's really simple. It's not really that hard. I think that's the biggest hurdle, is trying to get people to understand that we've been duped. Just because you spent all them years in school don't make you smart. You can look on social media, you can hear folks talking now. They spent 12 years. These kids are brilliant. They're brilliant because they actually know the landscape. They actually are familiarized with things again, like we were back in the day. Like, they're outside. And it's like they're happy. They're smiling. That's a big part of it. Like, you want kids to have a joyous experience as well. Like, I don't like my kids being stuck in a box all day, preparing them to go work in a box all day. We're trying to raise the liberation factors. You know what I mean? So we want these kids to be happy. That's kind of our standardized metrics. So it's more of a student led. So we'll have our themes, but we ask the kids, hey, what are you interested in? Or what did this bring about with us doing this? Did it provoke something else? And then we can just spin off from there. School doesn't have to be regimented. It needs to ebb and flow. It needs to go with the children's design. So I have the theory of nurturing the nature, right? Instead of nurture versus nature, I'm nurturing the nature. So we're, we need smaller groups that we can really dive into understanding the kids, understanding what they like. And again, that's why it needs to be decentralized. That's why everybody should be doing this if they have the capacity to. Because you can really just hold space for somebody else who maybe who has the desire to teach. Maybe you just have the land. But again, it's just getting the kids outside of the system and catching them early. They catch us early. Goddamn, we need to make some traps so we can catch our kids early and get them back into the rhythm before they get tossed and turned about the cabin. Yeah.
They don't dance no more.
Come on, man. Come on, crank it up. Drop that beat. Drop that beat.
People don't dance no more. All they do is this. All they do is this. All they do is this.
Oh, I'm gonna act a fool too. I'm gonna act a fool now. Yeah, I'm on the show now, baby.
This has been such an incredible joy, Mr. Seals. I really appreciate everything that you are doing for your community, but also for humanity, because really what you're doing is exactly what you said seeds do. You are creating knowledge that can be passed on, that can be acclimated to our own localities, you all. So we know we have a lot of people here in the chat, in the community of Views for Amanda Land, that are trying to do what you're saying, right? They may not have figured out what the starting point was. And I think that's something that you really help people understand today. Like because one of the things you said earlier was like, we only have one vision of farming, and that vision is just simply not even reality. Like,
right. Not close.
Not even Charlotte's Web. That's not, So, the concept of what our home is supposed to provide for us is something that has to change for people. Right. So when you're saying homesteading, I know a lot of folks that are like, in New York, figuring out I need to grow stuff on my roof, like in this on my balcony. Like, I need to be able to at least feed myself something that I can grow myself. And so, it really is great to see somebody like bringing back not just the knowledge, which is what I keep telling y'all, not just the knowledge in facts, but the knowledge in soul.
Absolutely.
I'm boy from the point, but I'm from Southwest, and every now and then I get put to
the test.
I told you, it'll just keep going. So thank you again, folks. Y'all know to go to the Fresh. What was the app?
Farm Fresh 24/7
app. Also go to Seals, no E, sealsfamilyfarm.com. And I look forward to further connecting with you and seeing how I can be helpful in expanding your vision and the work that you're doing to other folks that are in tune and in need.
Absolutely. And lastly, if you could, www.collectivelysustainable.org. If you want to take your stance into a little bit more an actionable one, that's where that framework, the curriculum, the walkthroughs. That's basically what we do, is help people do it in their own area. So that's where you can be supported. Collectivelysustainable.org.
Just reiterate for me how that works, the collectively sustainable.org. Like they reach out and they come to you and then you
It's a community. So yeah, it's a community. So it's basically like we have our own curriculum. We have our code of conduct. We start with authentic dialogue training, because you can't build anything without communication being key. So we start with communication training, and then we work into the themes of the month. And that's where, again, you get taught how to bake bread, the homesteading things, but it's also getting paired with people in your area. So the more people we have in our network, the more people we can link to stewardship centers or lighthouses, so they can get educated in that capacity. So it's more of the actual decentralized movement in the flesh, so you can be a part of that movement as well. Farm Fresh is just the free additive. It's our tool to kind of make sure that we're sustainable.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be a member by the end of the week, by the end of the day, really. I know a lot of folks in Nyack, in Rockland, who would like to, if they haven't already figured out how to bring this here, who would like to bring this here.
Let's do it.
Because it's time, and people see your vision. You were so right when you said, if I thought it, 2 other people done thought it.
That's it. That's it.
And I have one recommendation for you. I don't know if you've ever read Paulo Coelho's The Warrior of Light.
No, I haven't.
So if you liked The Alchemist, it's a very different book, but you are a warrior of light. And I think you'll really resonate with the lessons in it. My 2 favorite are: 1, a warrior of light knows that you cannot accept the unacceptable, which we know you about. And 2, one of the other lessons is lack of sleep will have you fighting battles you've already won.
Get your rest. Yeah,
it's like lessons for warriors. But like it has stories and it reminds you things. This is a very different type of book, but another warrior of light had recommended it to me 20 years ago, and I still quote it to this day. So I'm sharing that with you as my fellow
Thank you for that.
Fan.
Appreciate that. Yes.
You have a great one. Shout out to the whole fam, and see you soon.
Peace. Thank
you guys. There was a boy, a very strange, enchanting boy. And though he traveled very far over land and sea, a little shy and sad of eye, but very wise was he. And then one day, one magic day, he walked my way. And though we spoke of many things, fools and kings, this he said to me: the greatest thing I've ever learned is just to love and be loved in return. Nature boy! Thank you, Jordy. Thank you so much. How black do you feel today? Hey. Well, if you didn't know, it is Black History Month, and thus I will be sharing with you all little known Black history information, facts, stories, etc. And here is one right now for you.
Southern towns forbid the sale of African American newspapers from up north, so Pullman porters would hide the black newspapers on the train. and throw them off at designated spots as the trains traveled through the South. African American preachers collected the papers to distribute on Sunday. Thank you, Pullman porters.
So that was created by motherboomer.poet. And the Pullman porters were the brothers who worked on the trains. And for those of y'all who don't know, where there actually used to be a robust train system here in the United States, and they got rid of it because they got cars, and they were like, yeah, we don't need that. We have cars now. But the Pullman porters had a union, and they were really not for play. And they understood that they were connecting folks from different racially oppressive spaces, states, cities, etc., that there was necessary protection that needed to be handled, and to understand that they were involved in information sharing in this way really lets you know, once again, this idea of saying I'm just doing my job is hypnosis and a psyop, because that wasn't their job. Their job was to take tickets and to tell black people to sit in the black car. Instead, they said, okay, well, we gonna do that. However, while we're pretending to do y'all little job, we are going to be doing the work of sharing information that you're trying to repress. And that is going to be so necessary as we continue to experience the level of repression that Zios are about to put on and level up on this world. We've already seen it with TikTok. The fact that they banned Bisan from TikTok lets you know that they're not playing, all right? So you have to not be playing, and you have to be asking yourself, where is my strategery? Where is my courage in this position that I'm in to actually be in resistance? So thank you to the Pullman porters and what they have contributed to change and to making sure that the information continues to be disseminated. Speaking of TikTok, I just don't feel like any of y'all should still be on TikTok. Okay? Like, I just feel like, I don't know, cut it, let it go, erase it, move it, just be done with it. Because it really is not that girl. Okay. And it's deeply, what's the word I'm looking for? Troubling to me that we still have only real, basically, Instagram. And I am on Upscrolled. So want to remind y'all that I am on Upscrolled. We're still building, though, the community on Upscrolled. And the only way that it will continue to build is if we continue to use it. So Upscrolled is a Palestinian-owned app that people are actively moving over to so that they can really be in places where they're not going to be censored. People have said that they found some limitations taking place on Upscrolled. They said they were having trouble like uploading what was the word I'm looking for? They were having trouble like uploading things that were Palestinian, like pro-Palestine, which I don't know. That just, I mean, I'm not doubting that that happened. What I am doubting is that it's because there was, I guess, like censoring happening. Like that just seems like it doesn't make sense. But someone in the chat asked, why is TikTok not that girl? So can you guys in the chat explain that while I hit y'all with this week's high quality white. Yeah.
Renee Good, it's all Alex Preddy. No Keith Porter Jr. None of the others that have passed away that actually have brown and black bodies. All of a sudden, it is important. Just all I'm saying to you is noted. Non-judgment on the job. But what am I supposed to do with that? Feel guilty? I'm just saying, observe it, notice it. That it works.
So this right here is hold on one second. So this right here is Cody Deese. He is the lead pastor of Vinings Lake Church in Georgia. He was talking to his group of attendees about Keith Porter and the double standard in America. And I don't see enough of this happening in the church, particularly in any church. Actually, I was going to say in white churches, but I don't be in white churches. I don't really be in no churches anyway. But there just isn't any of this happening in churches in general. And so to see someone having this conversation in a very real way on the pulpit is absolutely necessary. I'm going to let him keep going.
That is how it works, okay? Now, what's happening is we've come during a time of the camera. So these things are being exposed. And man, isn't it exhausting? Mm-hmm. Now I want to pause because my Black and Brown people are going, yeah, we've been at it for a while. And if you're already exhausted, young man, we might be in trouble, all right? Now just hang with me, okay? It's like drinking from a fire hydrant, isn't it? Journalists arrested, protesters murdered, ballots seized right down the street, child sex trafficking exposed, communities being terrorized, children detained, oligarchs censoring. I got censored for the first time, your pastor, on TikTok. Censored by an oligarch because apparently I'm a threat. Democracy eroding. Every week there's something new, isn't there? Another crisis stacked on top of the last. Another norm shattered before I even have a chance to mourn the last one. And then I sit here right here this morning wondering right now when I finish this sermon and I go to lunch and I pop up my phone, what shock is coming next? Because what I've learned about white supremacy is it will do everything it can for you not to talk about the white supremacy.
That's right. Skirt. Now, this is the kind of whiting I'm talking about. The kind of whiting I'm talking about is when you call it out and you say it without a hiccup, without a stutter, and then you keep on going.
But what's more exhausting than all of these endless scandals is what never actually follows the scandals. No justice, no arrest, no consequences, no accountability. Instead, the opposite seems to be happening. Truth tellers are being punished. Power is being protected. Cruelty is being excused. The vulnerable are paying the price. I'm going to be honest with you. Some days this doesn't just feel like tyranny. It feels like inevitability. And I start to question, can this even be stopped? Because what we are dealing with now, what we are dealing with is no longer a right and left. Never really has been. That was the game the oligarchs played.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, we have files coming out.
So that's a high quality white, in my opinion. Now, what we didn't get to do today was we did not do our word of the day. And we have a different kind of word of the day today because we're going to learn something more than just like regular vocabulary. All right. So I don't know if you all know about the Celts, but the Celtic people are the indigenous people of Ireland and I believe Scotland. But let me just confirm. Let me just confirm. And I feel like, hold on, Jesus Christ. No, I don't mean the Celtics. The Celtic people are a diverse collection of Iron Age tribes originating in Central Europe around 1200 BC. So they were not just in Ireland, they were in Spain, they were in England, they were in Scotland and Wales. And when we learn about the Druids, right? So Druids had wands made of Hollywood. Get it? Hollywood. There is a word that is used by the Celtic people who are people of the land. All right. So these were people who understood the magic of the land. These were people who understood the healing of the land. Their language was Gaelic, and their word for this time was Imbolc. So that's our word of the day, Imbolc. Okay. And Imbolc comes from the Old Irish Imbolg, and it means in the belly, and it holds the fertile energy of goddess Brigid. She was the protector, she was the healer, the storyteller, artist, and nurturer. And during this time, we're being called to honor our bodies as instruments for our authentic expression, which also aligns, by the way, with what we are experiencing in the sky right now, because that is very much the vibe of the full moon in Leo. This snow moon is our authentic expression, our emotions, and really coming into we're aligning different indigenous knowledge here, right? Coming into the Chinese astrology of the fire horse, which is about confronting and about leveling up and expanding your spirit and soul on a supernatural level. Now, Imbolc is it's basically the midwinter. So it's a celebration that takes place halfway between the winter solstice and the spring solstice. And it's a time that straddles winter and spring. And it's what was known as the cross quarter day on the wheel of the year. Now, these days are seasonal midpoints in between the quarters or solstice or equinoxes. So the celebration, the dead of winter, is all about looking forward to the spring. So this is really about basically people being like, dang, it's still cold, but like we need a reason to stay popping. So let's celebrate the fact that it's going to come eventually. Like, let's not just celebrate spring. Let's celebrate the spring is on its way. And that is Imbolc. She says, yes, ma'am, it's our witches' holy day of feminine wisdom, right? So the Celtic tradition, this holiday is about, of course, the sacred goddess of Brigid. Many leave her offerings. They make small, squarish Brigid's crosses. So that's what this is, right here up on the right with the little torch. They make Brigid's crosses, and they what's it called? They also talk about in the belly, Imbolc in the belly, because that's when the ewes, the sheep, start to give milk. All right. So in North America, some Iroquois tribes observe a midwinter festival also around this time of year. It's called the Stirring of the Ashes, and it's part of the closing of the old year. And dream guessing is a communal dream interpretation ceremony. And basically the U.S. capitalism version of this is Groundhog Day. Yeah. So basically Imbolc is all about knowing that spring is starting to perk up. Now, where I live, it don't feel that way necessarily visually, but internally, I'm really like, yay, Imbolc. So here's some ways to celebrate Imbolc. You can refresh and adorn your altar with white flowers, herbs, citrus, and amethyst. You can declutter your home and life to make room for new beginnings. Make an Imbolc feast of dairy and grains, such as milk, bread, creamy soups, cheeses, along with fresh garden herbs. You can plant seeds or repot your plants as a symbol of new growth. Start planning your goals for the new year, because it's not actually the new year yet. So just start, envisioning that, and dream up any projects you'd like to begin, and honor Brigid. Now, what I think is fascinating for my own personal experience is that I am actively working to shift my body into connection with cycles of indigeneity, indigenous knowledge, etc. And when we understand this time as the midwinter, as a time before spring, as a time that is still about, the bubbling up of ideas and thoughts, but not necessarily coming to fruition, it really helps me to be a lot more graceful with myself. It really allows me to have a much more connected flow with my creativity. I always feel like I'm in a rush with my creativity because I have to meet some capitalist expectation. And so in shifting my mindset around this, so this is for all my creatives who are living off of their creativity. One of the things that has been helping me is looking at my creativity in different ways. Like some of my creations are what I call legacy work, and it's going to be longer projects. It's things that require more in-depth time and thinking to really be coming to fruition. However, when you live off your creativity, you're like, okay, but I still need to be making things in the meantime in order to fund making those things. And so what I have also done is figured out how to make things that don't require that much time. So the shirts for me, that's been shirts. So, for all of my creatives out there, it's like thinking about like, what is like the quick snack, like Rachel Ray version of your creativity that you can use to help sustain you while you are making the feast that is going to feed the whole community, right? So it's like you have to sustain you, but you also have to make the feast for the community. And I think that's like similar to what we were listening to Mr. Seals talk about with the farmstead, right? It's like he essentially realized, like with my homestead, I have to be able to feed my family, but that gives us a place to actually plant roots to be a part of creating an entire community that feeds an entire community. And for those of us who are creatives, we understand that our art is a part of that nurturing. Our art is a part of feeding. People oftentimes will say to me, like, what do you do? And anyone who doesn't see art or creativity or thinking, philosophizing as valuable will not consider me valuable. And that's simply just the facts of the matter. They won't consider me useful to movement. They won't consider me useful to resistance. Anyone who doesn't consider people who are fearless in speaking, people who are fearless in living as leaders in terms of inspiration, they won't see me as valuable. And that's that's their right to do so. However, what I know is that in everything that I studied, everything that I learn when I talk to other people, is that art always shows up. Individuality is always a continuous thread through those who not only fight resistance, but through those who also liberate others in themselves. Because it's not always fighting, a war. Sometimes the war is just with you, right? Sometimes the war is just within you. So we find ourselves having to ask ourselves, like, where are we? Where are we at with that? Where are we at with that? So I thought that was a really great opportunity to learn about something new. Yes, I have read Wretches Out of the Earth. I thought that was really also just an opportunity for us to expand our indigenous knowledge, because we got to remember that indigenous knowledge is not simply, it's not indigenous knowledge that is only useful because of its a relationship to those specific indigenous people. It is indigenous knowledge that is useful to all of us who understand that we are of the earth, and it is our role to protect the earth as we protect ourselves. And yes, Adrienne, I think about this all the time, that even in a time when folks was having to figure out how to get through ice ages and iron ages and how to, deal with wild animals and hunt and gather, they still found time to paint on them walls. They still found time to paint on them walls. So I think that's just so dope and necessary to remind ourselves of. Okay, so let's get into some 60-second headlines. First up, let's do this real quick, and then we will do that.
How black am I gonna have to get?
The whole liberation of oppressed people in the United States had to do not with climbing up some ladder to success, not for asking to be just like Rockefeller or just like DuPont or just like Ford, because that would only continue the oppression and exploitation of oppressed people in the United States, and specifically African people born and raised in the United States.
60-second headline. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
All right, let's get into some 60-second headlines. It's been a time this week. It really has been a time. You know, it really is F Bernie Sanders. Like, I don't know how he duped so many, but boy, that man right there, he really is not that girl.
Like, just sort of went with Netanyahu on whatever was he wanted to do there. And it felt also like, as a regular American, like we were supposed to be the ones to go help in some instance. I think a lot of young people are kind of discouraged about our relationship with Israel and what does that mean, like, especially like with AIPAC and influencing our elections and stuff like that.
Let me just say a word on that, because it's an issue I've been deeply involved in. On October 7th, Hamas committed a real atrocity. I mean, they went in, they invaded Israel, they killed, 1,200 men, women, and children, a lot of kids, committed sexual abuse, etc. Disgusting. They were a terrorist organization. Israel had a right to respond, like any government, that's attacked.
None of that is true. None of that is true. For him to still be peddling that lie, for him to ever have peddled it, but for him to, in 2026, the year of the old gods and the new, to be peddling those lies, and folks will still want to talk about these people as if they have any value in our society. That man right there is a disgrace. You hear me? He is a disgusting disgrace. Just said it right here. He is a disgusting liar. And then you see AOC running around with him, and you saw Mamdani running around with him. Anybody still waving a flag on this man is a threat to your safety. We just discovered the other day via these files that Zoran Mamdani's father came over to the U.S. on the same scholarship that Barack Obama's father came over on. And that scholarship was called like the Harvard something scholarship. And that scholarship was a CIA front. Marinair, who is also who is Zohran Mamdani's mother, she is in the Epstein files as an adult. Because I saw someone say, well, what if she had been trafficked? She is an adult in the files. She actually has like Zohran, a picture with like her and Zohran and Epstein. Now, again, everybody in the files isn't necessarily there in the emails. Some of them are just there in pictures. And I will say that the pictures are a different story than the emails, because it's proximity, and it's really about figuring out what was the front that was also being put out there to legitimize this Epstein character. What's not true about Zoran's mom? If you're going to say statements like something is not true, then you need to add on why it is not true. You can't just say something is not true. And I have been asking, are these pictures AI? And people are saying, no, they're not. So why is it that you guys are right and those people are wrong? I don't know. That's the part for me. I feel like y'all be very confident in wanting to believe certain things that I feel like I'll get very confident in just not wanting to believe certain things because it would be comfortable for you. She is in the files. I'm not sure what part of that is not true. She is in the files. So there's that. We also know that Zara Mamdani has absolutely capitulated to Zios. So that also goes along with all of this. And I want people to really understand that when in 2026, Bernie Sanders is sitting here spewing false truths, half truths, and disinformation, and he's doing it on a platform where he will not be challenged. Because that's what they do. They go and sit up there with Theo Vaughn because they won't be challenged. And it's disgusting. Now, something else that's disgusting. I don't know if you all remember this image that Zara put out shortly after October 7th. Do y'all remember this? And this is the image that got a lot of heat and that had folks say, oh, guess it's time to boycott Zara. Okay? Because I was right there. And I will tell you that at first when I saw the image, I know Zara be on some weirdness. So I was kind of just like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I'm new to the movement. So I'm going to trust the judgment of those who have been here and lean into that. Got it. Okay. So I went along with my Zara boycott. Well, Zara's under fire again because Zara in Israel decided to have an event with Ben Gvir. And Ben Gvir, if you don't know, is the devil. That's really what you need to know. He is the devil. And the Israeli franchise of Zara hosted a campaign event. This is the far-right Israeli politician who's like vying for the death penalty to be given to all Palestinian prisoners. This is the guy who you saw like taunting the flotilla detainees when they were locked up. This is Ben Gvir. Yeah. The Zara branch in Israel hosted a campaign event in support of him. So people were like burning their Zara stuff. I don't really believe in that whole thing. The idea of like, I own this and now I'm burning it. Like I may just not wear it anymore, or I may change the appearance of it. Like if it has a brand on it, like I will remove the brand. You know, but I think it's like you lose all the above. So I just felt like for all of my folks that may still be holding on to their Zara, you gotta let them go. For the record, just for what it's worth, Zara is not what it used to be anyway. Okay, it's H&M'd. It's H&M'd. It's just at a certain point, all of these brands just become so poorly made and you are now just continuing to buy a brand, not the actual thing. I have vintage Zara that is still quality, that's still like all together. The stuff they're making these days, flimsy, complete trash. And they're not making clothes that they purposely are making clothes to fail, right? We know that. They're making clothes for the goal of them having to get ruined and you have to buy it. I mean, I literally can think of at least 3 pieces of vintage Zara right now that are still intact. But new Zara? No. You know what I hate also, by the way? I hate when a brand that I loved, I can see when it got white and girled. There's a brand called Ula Johnson. I used to love Ula Johnson. And then at a certain point, it just became white girled, where her prints got muted, her colors got dulled, and it just became crate and barreled. I hate that. This is Mara Hoffman. Mara Hoffman, same thing. Like, all her stuff used to be like this. And she used to have really dope diversity in her models. And then over time, it just got crate and barreled, man. I mean, and let me tell you, she never lost color, but it just wasn't the vibes. I mean, I could take y'all on a closet tour that would just blow your mind. I mean, I really could take you on a closet tour that would blow your mind by you. But I mean, my closet is beautiful because I have decided to treat my closet as art. So Sarah said, yes, please. But Fatima, oh my God, a dream. Y'all really want me to take you on a closet tour? I just felt like y'all would be like, oh my God, this is so frivolous. But y'all are really in here like, yes, a closet tour. I had no idea that's something y'all would want. Only for the SEAL Squad. Okay. I would do it on live so I don't have to edit. But I did say I would do one on Tiffany. Sometimes it really just be like, it's the editing of things. The editing is what slows down stuff a lot. Once I found out that I could do lives, it was like, oh, well, this is cool because I can just do the live and then it's what it is. I can post it, people like it, etc. Where does she get that? I will tell you this though. Okay. Thank you, Malbam. Girl, you were in Hollywood. I expect some frivolous. I was just about to say, like, your girl did have a time in Hollywood where I had been around. Oh my gosh, Topra should host it. I had been around a lot of women who had money before I had money. And I just always remember that I would often feel like I was not as fly as them. And they would often have like all these brands, the Gucci, the this, the that. And I would just really feel like, dang, like one day I'll get there, one day. And then when I was on Insecure and I finally started like getting like financially secure, I bought my first pair of Gucci shoes and I bought them on my birthday and it was a big deal. And baby, them shoes have seen the world. Okay. Them shoes have gotten their just due. But it was really like a thing where I just really think back like, man, capitalism be getting us in all kinds of ways. And, you know, one thing I will say is that Gigi Giggle says right here, F them brands, a total waste of money. Here's one thing I will say. That's not always the case. So let's take a little side tour right quick. There is something to be said, and I remember watching this in a fast fashion documentary. There's something to be said for the brand names that focus on quality, because you will buy something that you may pay a higher price tag for. However, the craftsmanship, there you go. The craftsmanship is wonderful and it lasts. Okay? I have clothes that have lasted for 10 years or more. The quality of the actual creation is valuable in that regard. There's also something to be said about shoes, because you can see the same shoe at Aldo that you will see in Gucci, okay? However, the actual quality of the shoe and how it protects your foot, I say all this except for Louboutin, is different. It's the same with cars. Like, you can't patent the shape of a car. You can only patent the construction of a car. So certain cars look the same. Like a Kia, they've been able to make Kias look like Benzes. However, the actual construction of the car is not as quality in regards to the type of materials being used. That's why Tesla is such a fraud, because they're not making a better quality car. Like, they're not making a car that has necessarily a higher level of protection. The steel isn't stronger. The frame isn't more rigid. The insulation isn't better. And so therefore you are really just paying for the automation and shit. But at the end of the day, exactly, Sarah, it be feeling hella rickety, because it is. It's actually rickety. For real. But I remember the difference from my Hyundai to my Benz in literally just the quality of the ride, because of the level of craftsmanship involved in the vehicle. Now, when we're talking about fast fashion and these brand names, they though began to realize, well, oh, we can raise our rates even higher because of fast fashion. And now it's just out of pocket. Like, Chanel is just like, why would anyone pay this for this? This is crazy. Same with Gucci. I used to be able to afford Gucci and I would be willing to pay a price tag. Now it's like, why is this t-shirt $2,000? Why is this t-shirt $2,000? You must be out of your damn mind. Get out of here. What I've really loved is finding brands that make quality clothes with quality messaging. You know, brands like change.org, brands like Wear the Peace, Melody Asani, For Your Viewing Pleasure, Lingua Franca. These are brands that I've really enjoyed supporting, and I never get enough of, because I know that they are using their platforms, they're using their brands to push messaging, as well as to push messaging that is necessary, as well as to help support peoples and communities. And I really appreciate that. So if you have any that you know of, share them in the chat. It is 12:10, but basically we're in the 12 o'clock hour here at Views from Mandaland, and we are in the middle of 60-second headlines. If you're just joining us, please make sure to make sure to comment and subscribe. And at the end of the show, please come back and comment, because that is what pushes us through the algorithm. Okay. And, oh yeah, you can also support my brand, Amanda Land Exports. Thanks, Tanya. See, that's how y'all know I'm not a capitalist. I don't even remember that. All right. So let's get back into our 60-second headlines. Something actually, I guess it's kind of positive. It's just crazy at this point, like, what even is considered positive. So the Filton 24, 6 of the Filton 24 defendants have been found not guilty. The Filton 24 jury refuses to convict 6 of the defendants of the Filton 24, the Palestine Action Filton 24 case. So the British state is currently holding 24 activists prisoner for their alleged involvement in direct action against a weapons factory near Bristol owned by Israeli arms company Elbit. Now, some of the activists begun their trials. Many of you all have been hearing about the activists who are a part of the Filton 2024 and another group of 5 activists who were a part of an action. And they have been on hunger strikes in various times over the last 2 years. So many people will not face trial until this summer. That will have been around 2 years before they've been given their day in court. However, the 6 activists who have been found not guilty of aggravated burglary and 3 of violent disorder have been in jail for 17 months. Their names are Charlotte Head, Samuel Corner, Leona Cameo, Fatima Zainab Rajwani, Zoe Rogers, and Jordan Devlin. This is a major victory because it continues to use the court, which oftentimes feels like it's pointless, but it is a jury of their peers that has made this decision. And the jury has not come back to a verdict on charges of criminal damage. But the fact that they said, no, we're not doing it, like, get out of here, is really important and something that I wanted to make sure that I reported for you all. So, big ups to all of these folks for putting their lives and their freedom on the line. I mean, this is a big deal. This is not a small thing. And so many of us find ourselves saying, like, what would we do if we were in this situation? And we have seen them literally be held in prison unjustly for this long. And the fact that they have been found not guilty is great. I'm not sure if this means they will be released because there's still other charges that have not been addressed. But let's now also talk about Somalia. The United States has targeted Somalia over 20 times this year. Over 20 times. And I want to show you all this map because you have Somalia, you have Ethiopia, you have Kenya. And it's always important to take to zoom out when you see the U.S. targeting somewhere. This is the Horn of Africa. This is the Arabian Sea. I want to get you all an even wider map to show you what's going on, because this is really out of hand. So the U.S. has, hold on, I want to get you a better map. Okay, boom. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So let's look at Somalia on the map. Now, when we see Somalia here and the Horn of Africa right here, We see the Red Sea right here. We see the Arabian Sea right here. We know that they are trying to control this area of Africa. They are trying to pressure Egypt. They are trying to create this Somaliland where they are going to send the Ghassans. And so they are keeping Somalia in a constant state of unrest so that they can do what they're doing over in Somaliland, which is a cordoned off, what's it called? Portion of land in Africa that they're trying to use to then, do their encroachment. If you understand military, you know that they are trying to get the perimeter, right? So they were over here in Nigeria, and then you get them over here, and then, you've got Europe up top here, and then they're going to try and, get their South Africa digs in. And so you're getting the corners and you start moving inward. But flooding the zone with chaos is not simply this admin's go-to strategy. That is the American go-to strategy. And I think the term chaos is also one that we need to be careful of, because it's not simply just chaos, it's violence. It's violence, and it is very, very deep psyop manipulation of the peoples of those lands. They use ancient tribal conflicts, and they arm folks, and they incentivize them, right? They actually are very incendiary, and they awaken old conflicts, and they use them. They still use the conflict between the Hutus and the Tutsis to create even more unrest in not even Rwanda, in the Congo. So they use people against each other. This is like the actual, real, sick, diabolical nefariousness. They come and study folks. And I want you to know, they're not just using that on the continent. They do that in your hood. They do it in your hood. They come in neighborhoods and stir up between different dealers, different gangs. They create unrest to even just go and try and get real estate. Oh, if we can get these folks fighting these folks, then we can make this area low valued properties. Then we can get everybody to move out because the properties are devalued, and then we can buy up these properties, and now we have made this area gentrified. They do this all the time. And yes, as Dueno was saying about that area, it does have protection also because over here where you see the Middle East, the Tropic of Cancer, this little section of water in there, I don't even know if you can see like my pointer, but that is very important because that is where they ship the oil out from Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia and all of that, Saudi Arabia is not really rocking right now with folks because they tried to pull a fast one on Saudi Arabia between Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Qatar, and Saudi Arabia was like, hold on, you really trying to play me for the fool? And Saudi Arabia is like, no. But Janine, talk about it. Dark magic. I don't think people really understand when we talk about manipulation, when we talk about the efforts of using people's feelings to create scenarios of toxicity and dysfunction, that is magic. That's your energy being manipulated to create an outcome. Okay? That is dark magic. The creation of outcomes that were not naturally going to happen is dark magic. The manipulation of energy to create outcomes is dark magic. Fatima, what do you mean? Why was Epstein involved in the Qatar Saudi Arabia drama? It's not weird because it's the exact same situation. It is Izzy and the Zios and the Rothschilds and all those folks stirring up the conflicts so that they can take advantage of it every time. Every time. Now, this whole thing about Somalia getting bombed, baby, they're not talking about that nowhere. Nowhere on the mainstreams of the medias. None. So the last 60-second headline I want to discuss is Aaliyah Rahman. Now, I don't know if you all remember Aaliyah Rahman, but she is a woman who was attacked by ICE, dragged from her vehicle, and was arrested. Let's unfortunately take a look back at what she had to experience.
Yeah, man! Please take me! Pick up my police before I'm disabled so I can put a doctor up there! That's what I have to do! It's okay, man! This is your duty, my boy! All you do is hard! All you do is hard!
So this woman is disabled. She has both a cognitive delay and a mobility limitation. I watched this though, and I think what Adrian thinks. What do the whistle do? It's a kidnap. Like, I'm trying to understand how y'all watching this and whistling. But this was earlier on, and I don't know that it would still go down this way today. Now, she was then on CNN, and she had this to say about the situation.
I was not separated from a citizen of any other country. I think people believe this is just immigrants in there, and it is not. I was told that if I were a normal human, nothing would be a problem.
They said that too.
We have now heard from, oh yeah. You know, when I asked for disability accommodations, and I said, did anybody bring my cane with me from the car? I need that to walk, not stand, but walk, because my balance is bad. They said, there's no canes here. They stood me up in leg irons and said, walk, push my back. Walk, you can do it. Nobody said, maybe we should find something else. There was no medical screening. I was never once asked for my ID, even told I was under arrest, never charged.
Wow.
And when I sat there and somebody finally noticed I was, not able to balance, even sitting, and they said, I think there might have been a wheelchair around here the other day because I kept asking, can you at least get a wheelchair? People said, I don't even know if we have those. That's not the answer to that question. That's never should be happening. And when they put me in the wheelchair, finally, an officer said, wait, you were driving, right? So your legs do work.
What?
You know, I refrained from saying, hey, have you ever seen a handicap parking spot, sir?
So they had also asked her in the interview, like, were you there to protest? And she said, no, I was not there to protest. I didn't even want to go down that block, but they made me go down that block. And she talks about how they were giving her all of these absolutely ridiculous counter directions, which we know they do just to get you to trip up. So she was in a hearing today, and I want to play some of her testimony.
Approaching the Whipple Center, I saw black and brown bodies shackled together, chained together, being marched by yelling agents outdoors. I continue to hear the word bodies because that is how agents refer to us. We're bringing in a body. They're bringing in bodies, 7, 8 at a time. Where do I put them? We can't use that room. There's already a body in there. You have no reason to believe you will make it out alive if you are already being called a body. Agents repeatedly had to stop and ask how to do tasks. I received no medical screening, phone call, or access to a lawyer. I was denied a communication navigator when my speech began to slur. Agents laughed as I tried to immobilize my own neck. I asked for my cane and was told no, pulled up my arms and prodded forward in leg irons by agents laughing and saying, "Walk, you can do it, walk." Agents did not know if the facility had a wheelchair. When I was finally placed in one to be taken to interrogation, an agent taunted, "You were driving, right? So your legs do work." I pleaded for emergency medical care for over an hour after my vision had become blurry, my heart rate went through the roof, and the pain in my neck and head became unbearable. It was denied. When I became unable to speak, my cellmate pleaded for me. The last sounds I remember before I blacked out on the cell floor were my cellmate banging on the door, pleading for a medic, and a voice outside saying, "We don't want to step on ICE's toes." When I opened my eyes at Hennepin County's emergency room, I learned I was brought there to be treated for assault.
So I saw someone in the comments say, we really should just forget about, doing these hearings. They don't care. We need to arm ourselves. And what I would say to that is all the above. When it comes to the hearings, I mean, these people are terrible people that you're even doing the hearing for. So the question becomes like, what's the goal of the hearing? Is it to try to appeal to their morality? Because that's not going to work. These people are not moral. Is it to awaken other people to what your experience was? That's valid. Because, of course, by her being at a hearing, it's going to be publicized more. It's going to be disseminated more. And then there's the effort of Celine, 84. I agree with you that it's like to keep record. I will say, though, that, when I would see folks talk about, when it comes time, this is the time that it's come to. That's where we are. I think people are still in a mindset of eventually. We are in the eventual. That's where we are. Once there's eventually, which is inevitable, and then you arrive there. So again, a lot of what we're talking about is necessitating the context for your opposition. These people in politics, in the establishment, they haven't changed. These are the same people that were there. Sometimes literally, if we're talking about someone like Mitch McConnell and them, Strom Thurmond just died recently. These are the same people that were there during the civil rights movement, where we saw this same actions happening against Black people. So the time has been present. There was a quick little respite where enough of the country was distracted to believe that things had stopped. However, it never did. It never did. I want you to hear the words of Kathleen Cleaver right here and tell me they don't sound exactly like what we be talking about all the daggone time in 2026.
How black am I gonna have to get? And I don't think it's possible for this establishment to react to a human problem in a human way. It's impossible. In terms of self-interest.
You think it's that inhuman?
It is. It's obviously that inhuman to me if you look at its history and what it's doing now. If that is human, then we're something else. So I have to assume that they're non-human.
I have to assume that they're non-human. I mean, that's just what it is. You know, this woman, Aaliyah, at the end of the day, what I will say is regardless of what she hopes to have a result of from the hearing, in this day and age, telling your story of what they're doing to you, it has to happen somewhere. Because when we tell stories, and I think this is the part that we miss, when we tell truth, we are actually, that is also magic. So what I was talking about before about the manipulation, that's dark magic. Telling the truth, that's light magic. So when we speak the truth and we declare it, we are actively challenging the dark magic that is meant to destroy, to skew the clarity. That's why I speak so often. Well, that's one sentence. That's why I speak so often. But that's why I try and encourage you all so often to use your voice and to find your voice, whether it be your physical voice or your voice through words on page or your voice through photography or art, etc. Because like Saida says right here, the truth breaks the spell. That's why I also encourage you all to not just journal, read your journal out loud. Read your journal out loud. Sound and energy. Sound is energy. It's frequency. So don't just write your journal. Read it out loud. Because even when it's written down, it's still be in your head and it's still trapped. So we have to break through this spell that's been put on us and trapped us. We have to give incantations, and those incantations don't have to be bippity boppity boo. It's literally just telling the truth. Tell the truth, shame the devil. So if you want it to be magical, know that it really simply just requires you to tell the truth. Now, inspired by Adrian, I am making it my business every episode to share with you all some sort of spirit knowledge. So that's what we did with the Imbolc. That was this episode's contribution of spirit knowledge. However, I wanted to also share with you all my farming learnings, okay? And so I went to Grenada and I got to travel around Belmont Estate, which is owned by my auntie Shadell, and I got to try 6 different fruits and learn even about their capabilities for healing and for the body, etc. So I wanted to share that with you all right here. Check out Behind the Seals Grenada Fruits.
So this here is kaffir lime. So we use it in our cocoa tea, in making cocoa balls. We use it at Christmas time in cake. So just harvest it and just smell the aroma of this.
Oh my gosh.
Behind the CO, never a dull moment. Behind the CO, my life, your lesson.
Come behind the seals with me to Belmont Estate in Grenada as I try out 6 new fruits that I've never had before. even know. I've realized now I've never seen a guava like this. We'll also learn some nutritional properties of the fruits and how you can use them beyond just for eating. There we go. Guava juice is my favorite. Guava juice and papaya. And passion fruit. Is the king of fruits?
You can
Why?
just swallow the seeds, huh?
Tell me why guava is the king of fruits.
You have most of the nutrients. Protein, fiber, carbohydrates.
The king of fruits.
King of fruits, guava.
And also because it has a crown on it. Did you notice that?
Ah, yes, it does have a crown on it.
Look at that little crown. You need to break the skin a little bit so you can just...
Even more?
Yeah. Wow. So here we make, at Belmont, we make ice cream with that. And it's the most delicious. Even the leaves are fragrant, so we use that for making tea.
Everything smells so aromatic. Like it's not muted at all. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm surprised Bath and Body Works hasn't made a scent out of this.
Had this before?
No.
Oh, so it's like a passion fruit, but very gentle, very delicate. So you just have to suck it out. You bite a hole up here, right? Bite a hole big enough, and then you squirt the entire. No, bigger. You need a hole. Open it up. You gotta go through.
Right.
Okay, now it's just squeeze the entire thing in your mouth.
Oh my gosh! Wow! Okay, let me show y'all. So it's all these little seeds. And then that is serious. Wow. How did I never get this before? You described it perfect.
Yeah.
But it's soft.
Yeah.
It's gentle. Water lemon. So this is a mango long.
That's a mango long. You have to try it. You take that home and you try it.
And it's stringy.
Yeah, it is stringy. So
let's see.
But it is sweet. Oh yes. Have you had water lemon?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's see y'all. Mango long. It's gonna be in my teeth for the next 2 days. It's nice. Wow.
My favorite mango.
That's nice. I really don't want it in my teeth.
Yeah, well, at least you got a taste.
I got a taste.
So the noonie said to work magical wonders. This will keep you young for quite a long period of time as well. Fermented, 15-20 days, extract the juice, so we consuming the juice. But the juice after fermentation does have a little smell.
Okay.
May not be the best, but it's, let's see.
Wow,
right?
That's really terrible.
But it is said to work a lot, right? Because even in the common cold, your digestive system and all these things, I know people who use it, not to inside, but on their skin for pimples and stuff like that. Yeah, acne breakout and stuff.
Yeah. Listen, well, Bezai is the noonie expert, you know.
That's right.
Listen, Bezai's dad has been doing products with noonie for a long time, so Bezai has all the
soap. We make the juice, the pulp. When you put it in the bowl, you sip out the juice. Then you put it in a cheesecloth, you squeeze, you get the pulp, and then they make the soup. The leaf is good for pain as well. Just warm the bottom of the leaf and you put it on the wounded area. And the flower is for the eyes.
This is so weird looking, isn't it?
The whole plant is American plant.
It's an American plant?
Miracle.
Oh, I was like, I don't think so.
N-O-N-I.
Miracle.
Noni.
Noni.
Yeah.
Good?
Okay.
Very good.
Give you that. And this, you don't have to throw this away. Put this to dry 3-4 days after. Orange peel tea. Very, very good.
All of these leaves, Amanda, we make tea with them. All the orange leaves, the bergamot.
Orange man.
There is a serious orange there.
That is it. Tell me what you think. That is an orange. Exactly. Huh?
You must be making the cocktail.
I like it fried. Fry it up with oil, onion, garlic, and nice with bread. Sandwich, you put it inside a sandwich. And
Aki sandwich?
Yeah.
It's a different taste.
For the bread like the sandwich, put it inside it. A slice of
I
pizza.
Wow. That doesn't even look like it's from this planet.
I know.
Like it literally looks like other beings. And then
But if you see a tree that is covered with fruit, it's so beautiful. Just all these red fruits. It's like a Christmas tree.
There you
really
go.
very, very pretty.
Aki, my first time.
This plant, it's like sweeter than sugar apple.
Come right here. Very sweet, delicious.
Right? And it's like cocoa. It grows right.
Off the stems and the backs of the tree.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Right. You can just bite into it and
Bite
Just
into
bite
it.
into it?
and
Delicious,
just
yeah. Sweet.
Bite. Bite hard. Just bite out a piece.
Yo.
You good?
I
You
love
good?
it.
You love it? With all the acid?
Mm-hmm.
I
You
expected
thought you were tricking
Yes!
me? No, because I love sour. You thought you were tricking me.
Kelly, our trick didn't work.
You like tart?
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
Sorry.
fixed them. I
Yeah.
finally get you back.
So we call it condisia, bilimbi, and we also refer to it as one finger. You can put in like pepper sauces and stuff as well to give it a nice tangy flavor. It also, for example, you see the green bananas earlier? When you're cooking green banana, you can peel it, right? But the stain gets in your hand. Get a few of these, rub them in, and that green banana stain, gone. Clean your fingernails and all of that as well.
I love that y'all thought you were going to trick me.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I thought that one was going to send you off like
Yeah.
Nope.
And
I
here,
love sour.
And listen, I didn't tell Kelly anything, you know. I just said the candy plant up there. He knew where we headed.
I love sour.
Yeah,
This is
mainly I would give it to my
this
guests
is
and they would love
beautiful.
it too.
Gotcha.
This setting right here is really beautiful with your colors, the yellow and green, and the yellow and green around you.
I like your lesson. I hope you all enjoyed that. Man, I hope you all enjoyed that. I think it's just really great that I got to do that. And I want to go out there and like really actually like stay for like a week and just learn even more about the actual process of the plants, etc. And I do have more videos that I'm going to be showing you about harvesting cocoa and the dairy from the goats, etc. Now, when I was eating the ackee, when I first bit into it, my auntie Shadell was like, what does it taste like? And it was inappropriate to say what it tasted like. But it tasted like semen. That's what it tasted like. So, yeah. But Rolando said, ew. And that doesn't surprise me though, because when you look at the actual fruit, it looked like phallic. It just looked like it was reproducing. The fruit itself looked reproductive. So it didn't surprise me, but it didn't. Y'all are like, ew. It didn't taste okay. Maybe it didn't taste. I can't even believe I'm about to say this. This is a Samantha moment. Maybe it didn't taste like semen, but it tasted like schlong. Maybe it's that. That's actually more accurate. Because you're right. Like semen is nasty. Like it just tastes, it's like this. But yeah, that's what it tasted like. It tasted like dick. That's what it tasted like. Yeah. Someone asked about the citrusy smell of the bergamot. I feel like saying citrusy smell is not even like a fair representation. Like it was like citrus on 10. Just very high level, like everything that I was tasting there was so rich. You know what I mean? Like it was so potent. Nothing felt muted. And I actually don't like vegetables, but it's because I'm not getting to eat vegetables that are really from the soil. I'm eating these US born, BS, all types of pesticides, nonsense vegetables. These joints was straight up from the soil, and it was really, really great. My body even felt like it was awakening, like literally coming alive by consuming this food. So, and you're right, exactly, Destiny. Like it was real, not hybrid. So that made me say, like, man, I really want to eat more vegetables. And they had they have like a garden by the house, and so I actually got to put together an entire like salad from there that we cooked up. So we're gonna, moving forward, in the future I'm gonna do an episode of Behind the Seals about that too. So we got a lot of content from while I was out there. So shout out to my auntie Shadell, who was also the videographer. So she was really getting her Spike Lee on. It was very serious, honey. She was very much getting her Spike Lee on and giving us all the directions. So we are coming towards the end of the show, but we need to do something that we haven't done in a very long time, which is we need to have a moment of Black joy. And we used to do this on my show, on my radio show. We would do a story of Black joy. And I need to make like an actual like graphic for it, but we just need to be able to have those types of happy moments. And so I wanted to show you all this happy moment because if anybody grew up outside like me and Mr. Seals, who was on the show earlier, then y'all know about this.
Yeah. Why you so stiff? Oh, it doesn't matter. Hurry up with the L though, bro. Hurry up with the L. That's how you cheat though. Listen though. No, look there. Fasting. It was two. We already did one. You confused me. You trash. All right, first and foremost, you trash. You trash. Man, you trash.
And
you hard as shit, bro. Pause. No diddy. No diddy. Yeah. Who won? I just threw me off. You like this, like you throwing punches, bro. It's just a game, bro. It's a game, bro. A little tap, bro. A little tap. He's like you throwing punches, bro. It's not the pads, bro. Just go ahead. You better be gentle. No diddy. Look, when you be gentle, that's just slowing down. Yeah. All I know how to do is be aggressive. That's it. Yeah! What's up, nigga? Shout out to that nigga. Yo, this nigga funny, bro.
We have to still find these moments, y'all. That right there, Jess. They were legit co-regulating together. And then when you heard homeboy say, like, all I can do is be aggressive. This moment, he wasn't. He was addressed by it, and he wasn't. I love that y'all have different names for it too. Slides, numbers. When I moved from LA to Florida, we used to call it slides in LA. And then I came to Florida and they was like, do you know how to play numbers? And I was like, I have no idea what that is. And then they started doing it. And I was like, oh, now we would play it different than they did. So we would do the numbers on the hand clap and on the flips. So it's 1, 2. So it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. They just do one between. Look at y'all in the chat. It's definitely slide. The other person is like, numbers. Then other games like Rock and Robin. She rocks in the treetop all day long. And then there was Miss Mary Mac, all dressed in black, with silver buttons, all down her back. She asked her mother for 50 cents. Yep. And then there was down by the rivers of the hanky panky where the bulldogs jump from bank to bank. He said the E-I-O. You your mama stinks and so do you. Why are we always picking on somebody's mama? So ping, pong, ding, dong. Your daddy smells like King Kong. Down, baby. Oh, man. What a time. What a time. So we have to remember that, because I really believe that part of the reason why I have managed to continue to stay inspired is because I continue to be in touch with my childhood. Like I continue to, the child in me, even when she was damaged and traumatized, was still very present at all times. Not in immaturity, but just in wonder, in excitement and enthusiasm about the things that I like and bring me joy. And we really get shamed. And even now this generation be talking about cringe. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, no, enjoy what you enjoy and don't feel embarrassed for letting people see you enjoy it. Like, why do they do that? I mean, I remember dating people who it's like they would feel some type of way if you caught them happy. Oh my God. Nah, man. We out here. Inner child. Loud. That's why I think I don't have gray hair. Because my inner child is out here. Hi. Like, all the time. Okay. All right. Let's get into our critical thinking exercise. Let's get Okay, so let's get into some critical thinking around Haiti. Ça passe, Naboule. So there has been a lot of talk about Haiti recently because there has been a pause that finally got instated about the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem trying to terminate temporary protected status for Haitians. So in her order, however, U.S. District Judge Anna C. Reyes of the District of Columbia on Monday said that the government did not provide a reason for TPS Haitians the government did not provide a reason that TPS for Haitians should end post haste. So basically, Kristi Noem is trying to argue that was granted to Haitians based on the last administration, and that now that they are the administration, they should be able to do whatever they want. Now, I want to just point out, though, that the fact that this is continuously happening lets you know that this government is a sham. There should be no like, oh, they did it, but we doing what we want to do nonsense. This is the United States. And things cannot just change on a dime willy-nilly like that. They're not supposed to in any country. But again, this is the United States. So Kristi Noem, has been saying that the Haitians need to be taken off of TPS. And the reason that they need to be taken off of TPS is because they have decided that they are unlawful and they are no longer welcome here. Now, this was actually going to be very impactful, particularly in places like Springfield, Illinois, Ohio, Miami, because they have huge Haitian populations. For what it's worth, do they know Haitians? Because there was I saw a story, I don't know if it's true, but I saw a story about an ICE agent who went to get some Haitians, and the two people, they kidnapped him, a husband and wife. They said, oh, you trying to kidnap us? We kidnapping you. How about that? Sorry, that was like a sound from my throat. How about that? I also feel like they just really don't understand the culture of Haitians. Haitians have never been for play, ever, at any point in any time in history. Never. So why? Now, the judge went on to say that while the TPS statute does grant Kristi Noem some discretion, it doesn't give her like the unbounded discretion to just make whatever determination she wants any way she wants. She complains of strains that unlawful immigrants place on our immigration enforcement system. So her answer is to turn 352,959 lawful immigrants into unlawful immigrants overnight. She complains of our economy. Her answer is to turn employed lawful immigrants who contribute billions in taxes into the legally unemployable. She complains of strains to our healthcare system. Her answer is to turn the insured into the uninsured. This approach is many things. In the public interest is not one of them. What I want to point out, though, in our critical thinking exercise is, okay, here it has been very clearly put on display that Kristi Noem's reasoning is not valid. What would be the reason why they want to actually take Haitians off of TPS? Because let me tell you something. Haitians absolutely contribute as much as that judge was saying. Let's take a look at the numbers. Now, the Haitian community is very involved oftentimes in also infrastructure that is really vibrant in the country. So the same way that we see there being like a certain theme of certain professions from different folks from different places, with Haitians, it's Medicare. It's healthcare. Sorry. Haitian TPS holders literally provide $5.9 billion in annual economic contributions. Do you understand? In Florida, they are providing $2.6 billion in annual economic contributions, which includes $300 million in federal and payroll taxes. There we have Georgia, $151 million in annual economic contributions. Indiana, $209 million. Pennsylvania, $235 million in annual economic contributions. New York, 863 million in annual economic contributions. Jersey, 264 million in annual economic contributions. Massachusetts, 481 million. And this is just what they're reporting. Because one thing Haitians gonna do is keep a little on the side. Okay? So the fact that Kristi Noem is here trying to trick this judge, and the judge is like, no, I'm absolutely going to debunk everything you're saying very quickly, is very proof positive that they literally just want to keep deporting people. They want to keep imprisoning people and deporting people. They want new slaves. They want to also have new children that are vulnerable. I repeat, they want new children that are vulnerable. When you remove the parents, the kids become vulnerable. They end up in foster care, in systems where they are able to be utilized for nefarious means and trafficked. And just like, by the way, just like, this person had said this, Kimbia, I don't know any Caribbean immigrants on assistance. Caribbean immigrants, more often than not, in my experience, look at assistance as like shade. Like they shade assistance, which I often have to tell them, you're playing yourself. There should be assistance. That's the trick of colonialism. The trick of colonialism is that you somehow are shading people for using the government that uses them. They have tricked you into thinking, no, you should be paying the government while never needing anything from it. So that's a whole other conversation for another time. So what do you guys think? Okay, so just RM7BL said, I see all of this usurping and direct attacks on particular immigrant communities, part and parcel of the long game around reshaping and playing with demographics. Demographics leads policy on paper. While I do agree with that to a certain extent, I will say that I think that thought still considers things within a U.S. framework, not a global framework. And I really need us to grasp that what's happening in the United States is not being controlled by the United States. This is being controlled by the IMF, the World Bank, the people who are in charge of our Federal Reserves, who are in charge of the dissemination of resources and the theft of resources, the people who are pushing forward the military-industrial complex, which we know is not by any means limited to the United States. It's the deep state, yes. And when you hear things like the deep state and you hear things like the Illuminati, you think, oh my gosh, like that's some conspiracy theory nonsense. And it's just simply not. I mean, it's an actual real thing, and it is very available to you, and the facts are there, and they just don't want you to care about facts. And so they've made it so that facts look like fiction. So when we talk about the amount of contributions that Haitians are making to the United States, while the United States continues to destabilize Haiti, while the United States continues to funnel weapons into Haiti and to make it impossible for them to have their own food sovereignty, we understand that there is a consistent necessity to focus on not just Haitians because they're immigrants, but I believe it's also Haitians because they are very strong, like they are a type, their DNA is very strong. Like Haitians are not, I cannot stress this enough, Haitians are not for play, and they're also very smart. Okay. And I'm looking at other comments. People are saying they want to break them. It's a challenge. You know, the part of this too, though, is that if they're if the Haitians are sent back to Haiti, which by the way is still very dangerous, I think in their mind they think that the Haitians are going to just devour each other up. And I don't believe that by any means. I don't believe that by any means. I would love to see Haiti find its footing and also find its unity, right? I would love to see Haiti be able to get out from under this and really reconnect to its own soil. Sarah, I don't even consider conspiracy theories as, like, at this point, the term conspiracy theory, which is legitimate, has been so negatively connotated that when I hear it, I'm like immediately taking offense to it. But that's exactly what it is. A theory of conspiracy. What we have to understand is that we live in conspiracy. Kristi Noem is actively lying to a judge about why she wants to change the status of millions of people into being criminals overnight. People have to understand that criminality is simply a decision made by those in power. So all these people are here paying taxes, living their lives, sending their children to school, going to jobs, paying their mortgage or their rent, etc. And now all of a sudden they are rendered enemies of the state because this woman and the administration have decided they're playing with lives. They don't care about lives. They don't care about lives. So we always have to take conspiracy theories as, possible, because yes, they do end up showing up with credibility these days. And the mainstream media may call them conspiracies because the mainstream media doesn't deal in news. What did I tell you about the magic and the truth? And oftentimes you don't get to the truth until you start speaking about what could be the truth. Because that's what attracts other folks who are like, oh, well, I have this little bit of information to add to that as well. And that's also how you will find out that somebody that you're dating actually had somebody show up to their house and open the door to go on a date with them, and they were butt naked. And now you know not to continue dating that person or consider dating that person. But you wouldn't have known that if you hadn't shared the truth. Hey, I think I like somebody. That was the truth. Okay? Hope we all learned from that little sidebar right there. All right. This critical thinking exercise is about you all continuing to demand questions of yourself when you hear a news story. It can never just stop. It can never just be, oh, that's it. You have to continue asking the questions. So what we've decided is that here are some possible reasons why Kristi Noem actually wants to turn millions of Haitians into criminals, or labor to the jails, to the prison industrial complex, to add more children to the trafficking systems that are happening all over this world with vulnerable children. And 3, to continue their centuries-old effort of trying to kill the spirit of the Haitians. And we have to continue to lift our Haitian folks up. Vive la Haiti! Haiti! Sak pase! Naboule! PSA. So the Super Bowl is coming up. The Grammys just happened. The Oscars, etc. At what point do we say, maybe this really isn't the time? At what I'm just like, at what point? At what point do we say, this is just silly? Like the fact that people were at the Grammys, a known home of Zios and pedos and Lolos. The fact that we know that. And then folks who have awakened and call it out are still showing up is weird to me. It's counterproductive to the actual goal that they state they want. I don't know why people keep talking this talk about things changing from the inside, but they're not going to change by you coming to accept their award. That legitimizes them. That literally says, I see you as valuable because I am accepting that you see me as valuable. Someone said to me, well, you don't understand. Benito has come from so far. What does that have to do with this? Benito got his award when he sold out all these shows in Puerto Rico that he donated to the island. I don't know if he donated, but that he brought to the island instead of doing a tour. Benito got his award when his song helped push out the mayor of Puerto Rico. Was it the governor or the mayor? Someone in power in Puerto Rico was removed based on the uprising and response of his music. That's an award. Because we're not making the music for the industry. So the awards coming from the industry eventually have to be pointed out as nonsense. The worst people I've ever met were in the music industry. Just pointless, callous, duplicitous, shady, greedy, heathenistic people. Terrible. I've been in many businesses, and that baby was the worst. The worst. So at some point, we all have to understand that we are seeing the exposing of systems, the exposing of institutions that we may have been a part of or that we may be a part of, that we need to separate ourselves from. Any Jewish person I know has to be wild loud about their anti-Zionism for me to rock with them. Any Black person I know has to be wild loud about their anti-capitalism for me to rock with them. Any white people I know got to be wild loud about their anti-whiteness. Because the upholding of any of those is counterintuitive to literally my life's purpose. I don't want you around me. And I don't want to be seen around you. So regardless of if you feel like you need to be honored because et cetera, what does it mean to have the Grammy on your mantle? At one point in time, that used to mean something. I used to see that and feel like, dang, they really did that. People have an EGOT for things that they literally just put money into. They didn't create it. They just put money into it. Baby, that's capitalism. How are you winning an award for something you didn't even put any creative input into? So just because you put the money, they're like, well, yeah, but you need the money to do the creative. Get out of here. They're not creative awards. They're money awards that happen to highlight creativity ever so often. And the reality is that the creativity don't be getting highlighted unless it made money. So we are in a time of great awakening. knowing the way that things work, what I'm saying right now will not really get accepted for another 4 years. However, like the hearings, it is on record. PSA. Hey, that's another show. We're really getting good at these, y'all. Thank you to everybody who gave us super and showed some love for the work we're doing here at Views from Amandaland, your home of news, truth, and by any joke necessary. Thank you for anybody who has ordered from my new line, How Black Am I Gonna Have to Get? If you order the bonus bundle, it's gonna come like this. And I am very proud that I have announced that 25 people will get a notebook that has a spinner. Yay! So it's going to be a surprise, like a Willy Wonka golden ticket. But I sat there and I installed all of these spinners myself yesterday. Let's see how black I'm going to have to get today. Asada Shakur black. Which actually tracks, by the way, with the conversation around the Grammys. Because for what it's worth, like she's talking about some real shit where she's like, we're not doing the work we're doing to try and get there to be more moguls. We're doing the work we're doing to make sure that people can live. That's what this is about. Now, the bonus bundle also comes with a big ass sticker, a magnet, and a button. All right. There's also the How Black Am I Gonna Have to Get pin, and it's a big old pin. So people gonna see you. It's a medallion, y'all. All right. It is a medallion. So you will feel seen. And I'm very proud of it. I'm trying to change the setting on this, doing it, but I'm trying to do it like surreptitiously. It's not really working. Nonetheless, you can also get shirts, sweatshirts, and all that good stuff. So make sure you show your love. Remember, after the show, we head on over to Patreon and we do the kickback. So if you want to join us and be in community and talk about what we've talked about on the show and more, all you got to do is subscribe to Patreon like Miss Debbie so kindly informed you to do so. What an incredible episode. Again, thank you to Mr. Seals of Seals Farmstead. I cannot wait for the Imbolc to bring us to spring and the equinox and to head on out and really do my due diligence of stepping out to these different farms. All right. So I'm excited for that. Excited. Remember, if you want to join Patreon, all you got to do is go to patreon.com, Amanda Seals, and subscribe. And if you enjoyed Behind the Seals, I do content like that on Patreon all the time. We get to see more of the behind the seals of my life, but then we also have just unique content that I produce just for Patreon. So if you're looking to support my work, that's a great way to do so. All right. And I want to just send a shout out to Henry, Rolando, and Freddie for helping me so much by shoveling my driveway and my porch. And I felt so loved and so cared for. And they did it with a smile on their face. Y'all, then they left. I didn't even get to pay them. They just left. So, sometimes we feel like we're in this ourselves. And I don't even necessarily feel like, dang, like, how am I going to do this? But it's something that, you don't always want to have to muscle through. And so I just felt really cared for. And I've never really experienced that in that way where people just came to my aid in such a way. And so, yeah, I wish that for all of you. And I send that to all of you. And I hope for that for all of you. As we get on out of here, I will see you over on Patreon. But before you go to Patreon, please take a moment to leave a comment of at least 5 words so that we can push this video through the algo. All right. I will see you in a second. But first, as you know, we got to get a 30-second of stillness.
30 seconds of stillness. A man